welcome you back to Tremonton, Utah, the Box Elder County Fairgrounds for the second performance of the high school rodeo hosted by Rich, Bear River, and Morgan Rodeo Clubs. It's the second rodeo on the Addicted Power Sports Rodeo Series. Elan Olliff and Matt Petrie coming to you live from the indoor arena where we've got the traditional events for rodeo about to get started. Of course, this morning we had tie-down roping, breakaway roping, goat tying, and pole bending. Now we've got some fun ones ahead for you. Not that all of them aren't fun, but we've got some fun ones ahead of you. It'll be the barrel racing, and so this is the order that it'll be. Barrel racing, bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, steer wrestling, bull riding, and then we'll wrap it up with the team roping. Looking at the day sheets, in the barrel racing, you got to think the favorite is probably number 8 in the state, Sadie Davis, but also in there, also going to be riding tonight will be number 9's Camry Iverson from Uinta Basin, and that's your look at the barrel racing. In the bareback riding, only one of them ranked, and it is Hayes Hodgkins. However, he just was beat by Christopher Staley out of Lehigh at Spikers number 2 a couple weeks ago. And then you move on to the saddle bronc riding. Your favorite, definitely Gage Rydalk. He's also coming in after a win in Spikers as well. But keep your eye also on Caden Horrocks from Uinta Basin. He's ranked number 4 in the state. And then you move on. And then you move on to the steer wrestling. Of course, you've got Sam Hatterley as well as Cade Kossoff. Those guys will be doing battle here in an hour or so. Then it wraps up with the team roping. But before that, we'll have the high school and JV bull riding. And you've got both number 1 guys here. You'll have the number 1 JV bull rider in the state, Weston Simpson from Wasatch, and Christopher Staley, who's an all-around cowboy contender with his bareback riding. And then, of course, in the team roping, you've got the number 5 and 6 team ropers. They're roping together. Sam Hatterley of Wasatch Sam Hatterley is the healer for Casey Horton and Sam Hatterley. Sam Hatterley is the number 6 ranked team roper. Riley Russell and Trevor Johnson. Russell, the number 5 ranked team roper as well. So we've got talent all throughout the night. Matt Petrie joining me. And Matt, we had a great time this morning. I think we're going to have just as great, if not even better, a time here this afternoon.
This morning was great. I'm still amazed at all the effort that goes into putting on these rodeos, put on by the kids and the secretaries of the clubs, and they're doing a heck of a job today.
Well, you and I are both. Well, you come from the roping side of things. My dad was a saddle bronc rider, so I think I love the rough stock events, so to be here and get ready to broadcast some of that is going to be a lot of fun, and I personally cannot wait to see what happens here.
Well, who doesn't like a good bull ride, right?
Absolutely. As we are making sure the camera's all working. Yep, we're good to go. So we have about 20 minutes until rodeo time, but until then we got our pre-performance program, as we called it back in the morning show. And I think
Triple P.
The Triple P. I think we're going to keep it there. Let's go ahead and go to our first interview. We got a chance to talk with Morgan Rodeo Secretary Kelly Petty, and here's that interview. Here with Kelly Petty, Morgan Rodeo Club Secretary. Miss Petty, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us real quick. And we talked with Natalie Cornea of Rich Rodeo, and she kind of told us what secretaries are responsible for during the rodeo, such as finding the stock, finding the roping stock. What are some other responsibilities that you guys are going to be undertaking when it comes to putting on this rodeo in Tremonton?
Oh, there's lots of different things that we're responsible for. We run the whole office, so we sit in the morning with the judges, and we do the whole draw, and then we need to get the draw posted and all the draw sheets out to the secretaries and the timers. We need to find secretaries and timers for each arena, as well as announcers, and then all of the extra help that are running the chutes, that are pulling ropes, that are sorting stock. So it takes quite a few people to run a high school rodeo, and our responsibility is to make sure that happens and happens as efficiently as possible.
Miss Petty, high school rodeo is so unique to other high school sports because you really are kind of on your own. You're responsible for your own fundraising. You're responsible for kind of wrangling your own kids, so to speak, no pun intended. But I understand this is your second year as the Morgan Rodeo Secretary. What made you want to take on this responsibility?
I didn't want to see the program die. The community of Morgan has a really rich history in rodeo, and there's been lots of rodeos that have happened here for a long, long time. And it was really sad to see the club had dwindled down to really, there was just going to be 2 members left at the end of last year when the older kids graduated. And so we thought that it was important that we don't let it die, that we breathe new life back into it. And so we've kind of worked really hard this past year to increase our membership. And we're now, we're at to like 19 registered members, but we have about 25 to 30 kids that come and practice with us all the time.
So what kind of went into kind of building those numbers back up? You were at 2, now you're at 25. I mean, what kind of, how did you guys go about recruiting and trying to get more kids involved in the sport of rodeo?
Well, I went to the high school during some lunch periods, and I also went to the middle school to recruit, 8th graders and 7th graders. But I set up a table and had some luring treats of Mountain Dew and cookies. And my husband made a fun little, it's like a spin board where you can spin for a prize type thing. And anyway, it created a lot of attention. So I had a lot of kids come over and spin the board, and they could answer a rodeo question. And I would just ask simple questions that if they knew, they would get a treat, a donut or a cookie or a Mountain Dew, whatever they wanted. And really just tried to bring attention to it, and also told them a lot of things that some kids don't realize is that we have shooting, and there's a lot of kids that like to trap shoot here in Morgan. And so when they realized that there was shooting in the rodeo club, they were super excited. Not everybody needs a horse to be able to compete in high school rodeo. So it was really just showing face and then talking to kids that know kids, and then seeing kids at horse 4-H and trying to recruit them and their parents, and pretty much talking to anybody I know that has horses or knows someone that has horses or has done any kind of horse riding. And so it's kind of just been like word of mouth and us putting it out in the high school for them to, spread the word.
That is awesome work, and congratulations on getting your numbers back to that type of quantity. I mean, that having a big rodeo club is very important to the community of Morgan, and that seems very, very obvious. Again, that is Kelly Petty. She is the Morgan Rodeo Secretary. Miss Petty, thank you so much for talking with us today. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, we're just grateful for you to be able to stream this for a lot of people that want to watch and can't be there. And we're just excited to kind of get some attention for high school rodeo. So thank you.
Big thank you to Morgan Rodeo Secretary Kelly Petty for joining us. And, we talked about it ad nauseum in the AM performance, but it is a lot of work to put on one of these rodeos. You mentioned it as well. You'll hear throughout the morning and throughout the afternoon if there's something. You'll hear throughout the morning how there's been a lot of work going on here. And during the day, we've heard all sorts of announcements from the announcer saying, hey, if you're not doing anything and you're with this rodeo club, get back here and help us do this. And it's a very tight ship that's mixed with organized chaos here in high school rodeo.
It's interesting. Every single kid from every rodeo club helps out wherever they can. They called for help this morning, and I swear 20 kids came running.
Yep. It's going to be a fun time here in Tremonton. Well, we've got some interviews with some contestants that competed throughout the day. including our next one with Rich's Wrangell Osborne. Here with Wrangell Osborne. He's from Mountain View, but rodeos with the Rich Rodeo Club. And Wrangell, you were just telling me off the air, this is your first year doing high school rodeo. Tell me, how much fun are you having with it?
I'm having a lot of fun. It's been a good time. So,
what events are you competing in?
Reining cow horse, cutting, and team roping.
So team roping is definitely one we'll have on the broadcast. Are you a header or a heeler?
I'm heeling.
You're heeling now. That's kind of a specialty type position, I guess you could say. How long have you been doing heeling then?
Well, just all my life I've been heeling, but this year it's my first year heeling. So.
And then you're also competing in the cutting as well. And what a lot of people don't realize is how much of a workout that is for the rider, because you are constantly moving. What made you want to get into that one?
Well, I've been watching it since I was little. Just kind of competing in little shows all my life, and just found a good horse and been getting along with him, and just it's been fun. So
you're rodeoing for Rich, but you're from Mountain View, so that's quite a drive. Are you the only one from Mountain View rodeoing with Rich, or do you have a travel buddy, or are you kind of all by yourself on this one?
No, it's just me and my mom. We're the only one from down there, and that's really it. So.
We're going to go and interrupt that interview. We'll play it later, but we want to turn it over to our in-venue announcer as they are doing the senior spotlights. Let's go ahead and turn it over to him.
He competes in steer wrestling and plans on competing in tie-down roping this spring. Quaid is currently employed at Smith & Edwards and has committed to attending Weber State University this fall, where he plans to pursue a degree in finance. Congratulations to Quaid, as he is presented with his quilt by his parents. What a wonderful senior gift right there. He'll take that with him to college and get to snuggle up with it every night. Next, we welcome in our Morgan Rodeo Club senior. This is Reese Carter. He is the son of Tell and Sherry Carter and is loved by his parents and 3 sisters. He plans on living in Morgan and becoming an electrician after graduation. In his free time, Reese enjoys spending time with friends, shooting track, dirt biking, and just being outdoors. Reese has wrestled varsity and been an active member of the FFA. Reese is currently the president of the Morgan Rodeo Club through the UHSRA. We love you, Reese. Keep doing amazing things. As his mom presents him with his senior buckle. Again, how about a round of applause for your seniors, Mr. Reese Carter and Mr. Quaid Kossoff. Well, rodeo fans, make sure to grab you something to eat or drink.
The seniors honored, as we will go and go back to that interview with Mr. Wrangell Osborne. Here with Wrangell Osborne. He's from Mountain View, but rodeos with the Rich Rodeo Club. And Wrangell, you were just telling me off the air, this is your first year doing high school rodeo. Tell me, how much fun are you having with it?
I'm having a lot of fun. It's been a good time. So.
What events are you competing in?
Reining cow horse, cutting, and team roping.
So team roping is definitely one we'll have on the broadcast. Are you a header or a heeler?
I'm heeling.
You're heeling now. That's kind of a specialty type position, I guess you could say. How long have you been doing heeling then?
Well, just all my life I've been heeling, but this year it's my first year heeling. So.
And then you're also competing in the cutting as well. And what a lot of people don't realize is how much of a workout that is for the rider, because you are constantly moving. What made you want to get into that one?
Well, I've been watching it since I was little. Just kind of competing in little shows all my life, and just found a good horse and been getting along with him, and just it's been fun. So
you're rodeoing for Rich, but you're from Mountain View, so that's quite a drive. Are you the only one from Mountain View rodeoing with Rich, or do you have a travel buddy, or are you kind of all by yourself on this one?
No, it's just me and my mom. We're the only one from down there, and that's really it.
So with you rodeoing in Utah, you're going to be looking to go to Heber for the state finals for Utah. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
And have you qualified for state in any events yet?
Yeah, I've qualified in reining cow, horse, and cutting.
If I was to ask you which 3 of your events is your best, which one would you say?
Probably cutting. That's probably the one that I've been doing the best in. So.
Have you gotten a go-round win yet?
No, not yet. No, still working on it.
What's the closest you've come?
I took 5th in cutting in the Dixie Six, one of the second weekend in the Dixie Six.
Well, you're getting closer and closer, and we're excited to watch you in Tremonton. Do you know who your partner is going to be in Tremonton right now?
His name's Carson Taylor. He's from Grantsville.
All right. Have you roped with him before?
Yeah, he's my partner all year. Yep.
So how do you guys determine partners? Is it an assignment, or do you just get with someone and say, "Hey, I need a header, you need a healer. Let's be a team this year"? Is that how it works?
Yeah, you just go out and find a person and just see if you rope good together. And me and Carson have been roping good together. So,
what's the key to having that kind of chemistry for a team roping pair?
Just rope fast and get along. That's about it. So.
Because it happens really quickly. If you've got a good header, he's swinging right out the gate, and then you've got to be picking up that timing pretty quickly. So you guys must have a lot of really great chemistry, and I am so excited to watch it in Tremonton in April. That is Rangel Osborne. He is rodeoing with Rich, but he comes from Mountain View. Rangel, thank you so much for your time. Anything else before we wrap it up?
That's it. Thank you.
Big thank you to Rangel Osborne for joining us today as we are mere minutes away from our second performance of the day. It's the large arena at here at Box Elder County Fairgrounds. The rough stock events on top of that will have barrel racing, team roping, and steer wrestling. And speaking of the team roping, we got to talk with another team roper, Morgan's Austin Petty. Here is that interview right now. Here with Morgan Club member Austin Petty. And Austin, you compete in team roping and tie down. First, let's talk a little bit of team roping. What side of the, I guess, the shooter are you roping? Are you header or healer?
I'm a healer.
You know, I've always respected healers because it looks so much more difficult than heading because you have to plan. It's almost like you're planning the trap and you hope that the steer steps into it. How long have you been healing for?
I've only been healing a year now. I roped out in the ranch, but only healing a year out in team roping.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about what it was like to get into the sport of rodeo, because a lot of people think it's pretty intimidating. It's definitely not as simple as going and buying a baseball mitt and a baseball bat or a basketball or something like that. There's a little bit more involved in it. So if you could talk to me about the process that you took to get into rodeo.
Well, it was really intimidating at first because I've always wanted to rodeo, but as you said, it just seems like a really select group and a sport for only the rich people. But the more I learned into it, the more I talk to people, it's just about having connections because everyone's out there willing to help you. They all want to help you succeed. You just got to find the right people. Because for me, I found a couple of team ropers here in Morgan that have been roping all their lives, and they helped me with literally everything. I started out barely learning to ride a horse. Well, I look like I could barely ride a horse, but yeah, they took me from the ground up. And so it's just, I guess, looking and searching for the right people because they're always out there to help you.
We've talked with other team ropers around the state that their partner, their header or healer, their teammate is on another rodeo club, so they don't get to practice as much. That's not the same situation for you. Your partner is in Morgan Rodeo Club with you. So how often do you guys get together and run the rope and shoot?
Oh, we get a rope about twice a week now. It's pretty good for us, so we can get in tune with each other and get some good runs going. How
important would you say chemistry is to a team roping team?
It's very important to me because I've tried to rope with random people all the time, and it just doesn't seem to fit because everybody ropes a little differently and does stuff a little differently. So being able to practice with each other helps you out a lot.
What's it feel like when you finally get that chemistry right?
It just feels like everything flows, and it makes me happy because it just feels good. I don't know. There's no other way to explain it besides just everything feels good and correct.
When you watch the sport and it's done right, it looks like one smooth motion, two people doing one smooth motion, kind of reading each other's minds. And it's kind of poetry in motion, like a lot of rodeo events. I mean, you could say the same thing about tie down, which you are a part of as well. And of the two events, which one do you prefer, tie down or team roping?
Oof. Oh, probably team roping, because I enjoy spending time with other people, and it's just a lot more collective as a group. But tie down's really fun too.
Now you need two different types of you don't necessarily need two different types of horses, but there are certain types of horses that are better for team roping and certain types of horses that are better for tie down. But I understand you're using the same horse for one event. It's your team roping horse in the tie down. Talk to me a little bit about the differences between the types of horses that you want in those events and how you're kind of overcoming that hurdle.
I mean, yeah, she's a great little heel horse, but ideally I need a little bit shorter of a horse and a little bit more of a faster horse that comes out of the box. But the biggest hurdles I'm coming over right now is probably the barrier, because instead of wanting to run through it, she kind of wants to jump the whole thing. And then after I get off, just holding that tension in the rope is also another barrier that's kind of been hard.
And of course, you're talking about the action that the horse takes when you get off and start running down the rope to start your tie down portion of your run. The horses in tie down roping are trained to back up and keep that tension. So just kind of describing what you're talking about there. Talk to me a little bit about your season so far. Of course, we had the whole fall season. We've had the Spikers Rodeo so far at the time of this recording in the spring season, and then you guys are going to Carbon a little bit later on. But coming into this spring rodeo season, how do you feel like you did in the fall?
In the fall was a little rough. We had a hard time getting that chemistry as we were talking about and getting those complete runs on the team roping side. But coming into the spring, it's starting to look a lot better, because this past rodeo, we got the first time I roped up my own horse's leg, and then the next time we got a time. And so it's a big improvement, because it's been a struggle just getting a time since I started, because that's like the biggest hurdle I've been trying to come over. But now this season seemed to start off really good, because now we got a time, and it's just even starting to get a lot better than it used to be.
That's good to hear. That is Austin Petty with the Morgan Rodeo Club. Austin, good luck this season. Cannot wait to watch you throughout this spring. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I'm really excited for this spring season where I can get. So thank you.
Big thank you to Austin Petty for joining us live here. Or, well, not live, but we're joining you live from Tremonton. But we thank Austin Petty for joining us on the pregame or pre-performance program. It's the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series getting started here in Tremonton this morning, and we saw some great performances. The tie-down roping won by Randy Johnson. The breakaway roping taken by Megan Zurich, I believe. Zunick. The goat tying won by Torgerson. I can't remember. I think it's Kelsey Torgerson. And then the pole bending was just recently taken by Paige. We're looking at our stuff right now. Sorry about that, everybody. Was just taken by Paige Clem of Spikers Rodeo Series. So those are your event winners thus far that we've been able to cover. We're going to crown a few more. We'll have barrel racing, bareback riding, saddle bronc riding, steer wrestling, bull riding, and team roping. So we are about 1 minute away from the start of this one. And we want to give a big thank you to our barrel racing sponsor. That is Uinta Bosie's #1. What are you waiting for? Uinta Bosie's #1 in Evanston, Wyoming offers college and career readiness classes on-site and online. Visit Uinta Bosie's #1 at uintaeducation.org. Again, that is uintaeducation.org. I want to give a big thank you to Ready, Safety and Excellence in Industrial Services since 1982 for sponsoring our results board. We made some tweaks on it throughout the break, so hopefully that'll help that as well. Our first barrel racer is going to be Josie Madsen from Spikers Rodeo Club. Shaylee Ivy from Uinta Basin will be on deck. Alexis Beckstead from Spikers Rodeo Club in the hole. Again, when you look at the state rankings of our contestants this evening, Sadie Davis from Southern Utah is the favorite. She sits number 8 in the state. But Cambria Iverson from Uinta Basin will be coming out of the 15th slot. She is number 9. Then you've got the number 10 as well. So 8, 9, 10, also 11. Number 10, by the way, Paisley Davis from Southern Utah. Number 11, Presley Bennett from Spikers. So we got some good barrel racers coming out here today.
Some of the top in the state, and you always like to see the best competitors.
As we will soon be going radio silent, as it looks like we will have the national anthem momentarily. So we'll go back to our generic camera there. Getting ready to start what will be a fun night of rodeo action. And it's going to be the barrel racers, 41 of the fastest in the Beehive State. And then 4 high school bareback riders. As we'll go radio silent for, it looks like our national anthem starting soon. As we get ready for this one. This is a big rodeo, as points earned here count towards the state finals. As we get ready for performance number 2. As we'll go ahead and get ready to film the grand entry here.
Sounds like a bunch of high schoolers in here.
As we get ready for the start of performance number 2 here in the large arena. As we get ready to go. And the Queen Contest winner is about to be announced here.
A beautiful young lady. At this time, your newly crowned queen for Bear River Ridge and Morgan Rodeo, your queen, Miss Harvey Stokes.
It'll be Carly Stokes is the new rodeo queen for Bear River, Rich, and Morgan, as she takes her victory lap. Rodeo Queen is a whole lot more than what anyone would imagine, as horsemanship, ambassadorship for the sport, it all comes in to factor when being crowned a rodeo queen.
And many, many miles after you become rodeo queen, representing your specific rodeo and rodeo in general.
All right, we're going to turn down that crowd mic just a little bit, as we will go ahead and go radio silent for the opening invocation and the national anthem.
I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Quaid Kossoff for the opening prayer.
Our dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this opportunity to be here today. We thank you for all the blessings that you have given to us. We ask that no harm may befall us or the stock, and that everyone may perform to the best of their abilities. And we say these things in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Well, thank you, Quaid, and congratulations on graduating from high school. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please rise, and gentlemen, remove cover, as we welcome in the
and we will go radio
greatest
silent
flag
for
greener.
the national anthem.
And a beautiful young lady by the name of Hadley Jo Cotter will be presenting your colors. She is your Utah Junior High School Rodeo Queen. And tonight to sing our national anthem is Kiana Lester.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
Nicely done. Well, we will dismiss the Stars and Bars and Miss Hadley Joe.
Well, the national anthem has been sung, and it is time to get started here in Tremonton in the barrel racing. Again, our barrel racing brought to you by Uinta Bosie's #1. What are you waiting for? Uinta Bosie's #1 in Evanston, Wyoming offers college and career readiness classes on site and online. Visit Uinta Bosie's #1 at uintaeducation.org. As we are getting ready to start, again, our first barrel racers will be Josie Madsen from Spikers Rodeo Club, and Shaylee Ivy will be on deck. Alexis Beckstead in the hole. So Josie Madsen will get us started off here in the barrel racing, brought to you by Uinta Bosie's #1, 41 of the fastest. Here we go. Madsen around the first barrel. And good direction around the second one. Here she goes, headed for the third. And that's it. It's a cloverleaf pattern. Knocking over a barrel results in a 5-second penalty. 15.796 for Madsen. 7.96. So 15.796.
Shaylee Ivy from Uinta Basin's up next.
And now that she has the top mark in the round, as we move on to Shaylee Ivy from Uinta Basin. Round the second, here she comes to the third. Oh, and she knocks it over. Not what you want. And that'll be a 16.304 plus 5, so a 21.304 for her. Next up will be Alexis Beckstead from Lehigh. I'll bring up Alexis Beckstead from Spikers. Round the third, and here she comes. 16.008 for Alexis Beckstead.
Madison Beckstrom from Lehigh's up next.
That'll be, from Lehigh. Beckstrom. Madeline Kalmar from Southern Utah stands on deck. Ryan Becker will be in the hole. Here comes Madison Beckstrom from Lehigh. Around the first barrel, she opts to go towards the right. Now we'll come towards the left, and she'll pick up a 5-second penalty there. Good turn on the second one. And 17.527 plus 5 will make it a 22.527 for Beckstrom. That currently puts her in third in the round, but it is Josie Madsen who's on top right now. However, she sits fourth overall according to the overall standings. That'll now bring up Madeline Kalmar, is from Southern Utah. Good turn around the right barrel. Now here she comes to the left, and that's causing some problems for some of the ladies here tonight.
Seems like it's always the second barrel that causes the most problems.
Two barrels down. That's a 10-second penalty. So 26.504 for Madeline Kalmar. Next up, Ryan Becker from Wasatch. Of course, that is Heber. Here comes Ryan Becker. Round the first barrel. Now, and again, it's that left barrel that's causing some problems as Becker, unfortunately, will topple over that one. And that's a 10-second penalty for Becker.
seconds in penalty, 15.669 plus 10.
As we go to
669
the replay.
for Ryan Becker.
What was that time again?
Fitzgerald.
15.669 plus 10.
So 26.669.
Summit, she'll be followed by Abby Richards, then Sage Campbell and Allison Bush. We will
Adriana Fitzgerald of South Summit is coming in next.
After Fitzgerald will be Abby Richards and Sage Campbell. Next 3 to go.
Nice job, Adriana, to stand around the third.
Here she comes around the third. She's clean so far. And 16.296 for her.
For Adriana, next to go, Abby Richards.
Abby Richards out of Sevier, followed by Sage Campbell and Allison Bush.
This is Abby Richards from Sevier. Clear through. Oh, I almost said 2, but she just knocks it over with the hindquarters of the horse. That's going to be +5.
Finish strong with one barrel down, 16.412.
21.412 for Abby Richards.
Sage Campbell out of South Utah, followed by Allison Bush and Carissa Nostrom.
So your top 3 in the round right now, it's Adriana Fitzgerald from South Summit, Alexis Beckstead from Spikers in second, but they're all chasing the first one out the gate. That was Josie Madsen from Spikers with a 15.796. Here's our next cowgirl. It's Sage Campbell from Southern Utah. Clean through 2. Here she comes for the third, trying to make a run at that 15.796. Here she comes, and 15.843. Good enough for second in the round.
All right, next is Lehigh's Allison Bush, followed by Carissa Nostrom and Lacey Anderson.
We are going fast and furious in the barrel racing as we hit the 10th barrel racer of the day. It's Allison Bush from Lehigh. As you mentioned, here we go. Opts to go right with the first barrel. Now we'll come back to the left to complete the side-to-side part of the cloverleaf. She's clean. Nice looking turn here. By the way, Sage Campbell, who was 9th, was 19 in the state. And here comes a good run. 16.255 for Allison Bush. 16.255. So let's go through your top 5 right now. It is Adriana Fitzgerald with a 16.296 from South Summit. Allison Bush from Lehigh with a 16.255 from Lehigh. In third place, it's Alexis Beckstead from Spikers with 16.008. In second, it's Sage Campbell from Southern Utah with a 15.843, and they're all chasing Josie Madsen from Spikers with a 15.796.
Small break while we rake the arena here.
Trying to get the live cam back up. But how about the run by Madsen? But now we have our 11 through 20. It'll be Carissa Nordstrom from Southern Utah, Lacey Anderson from Carbon, Ashlyn Beck from Lehigh, Maddie Van Tassel, from Uinta Basin, Camry Iverson from Uinta Basin. She's number 15. She's number 9 in the state. Then you'll have Peyton Bennett from Lehigh. Number 17 will be Presley Bennett, the number 11 girl out of Spikers in the state. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah. And Paisley Davis, the number 10 girl in the state, will come out 19th. Kayla Thorogood will be number 20th coming out. Quarter of the way through the field already, and that 15.796 might be a little tough to beat. As we show you our results board right now, brought to you by Ready Safety and Excellence in Industrial Services since 1982. As you can see, it is Josie Madsen sitting on top of the leaderboard here in this performance. We understand there were faster times laid down in the first performance, but we don't have access to those. So from what we are seeing, though, it is Madsen who is the fastest we've seen today, and that'll set the scene for Carissa Nostrom from Southern Utah. As when she gets the go-ahead, she will take off. High energy and high action happening here at the afternoon performance. Our barrel racing brought to you by UNT Bosse's. What are you waiting for? UNT Bosse's, #1 in Evanston, Wyoming, offers college and career readiness classes on site and online. Visit UNT Bosse's #1 at unteducation.org. Here she is. It's Carissa Nordstrom coming to us from South Utah County. So it's South Utah County, not Southern Utah, as we've been incorrectly saying it. Here she comes, Nordstrom around the first one, comes around the second one. Here's the SUC Cowboy over the third barrel, and she almost went for a ride there. And Nordstrom is able to come in.
How about a 15-6?
15, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, and that is your new leader on top. So Nordstrom will take the top mark on our
Jason, do we need a caller 3 times? I have her as a
Nordstrom will take the lead with a 15, 6, 7, 6.
Lacey Anderson turned out.
So Anderson turns out.
Ashlyn Beck from Lehigh should be up next, followed by Maddie Van Tassel and Camry Iverson.
So Anderson did not start. Here comes Ashlyn Beck. Oh, rattled that second barrel. But here she comes, coming around the third. Oh, and she tried to save it with the hand. That is legal, but it comes down. So it's a 27.11, so, or 17.211, so 22.211 is the time for Ashlyn Beck.
Maddie Van Tassel out of UNT Basin's next.
That'll put Beck over in 9th place on the round. Here's Maddie Van Tassel from UNT Basin, as you mentioned. Comes around the first barrel hot, coming towards the right side, opt to kind of get that barrel that had been causing most of the Cowgirls some problems out of the way. Here she comes to the final barrel. Nice tight turn, and she's headed home. Here she comes. Will it be enough to stop the clock? 15-1-8-2. That is your new leader. 1-8-2. Van Tassel takes the lead.
Camry Iverson out of UNT Basin is next, followed by Peyton Bennett and Presley Bennett.
So Van Tassel now with the top spot. And it looks like we had a turnout for Camry Iverson. That'll bring up Peyton Bennett from Lehigh. But Van Tassel now, your #1 Cowgirl in the barrel racing here this afternoon. Coming around the third barrel, here she comes. It's Peyton Bennett. 16-1-7-8. That will be good enough for 7-8. That's good enough for 6th place. So a good run there as Presley Bennett will come up. But they're all chasing Van Tassel with a 15-1-8-2. Whoa, and unfortunately right off the bat, Presley Bennett knocks over a barrel. So that'll be a 5-second penalty as she comes through. That's a 21-192 is the final time for Presley Bennett. That is good enough for 10th place.
Kayla Thurgood.
Avery Hellinger's up next out of South Utah, followed by Paisley Davis and Kayla Thurgood.
Here we go, Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County. It's around the first, now the second, heads for the final barrel, and she's clean. Could be a big run here, and she stops the clock. Is it enough? No, 15.704 puts her in third place, though.
That's number 4. Paisley Davis.
15.704 puts her in third place. So now we have a top 10. It's Presley Bennett from Spikers Rodeo in 10th. Adriana Fitzgerald from South Summit in 9th. Allison Bush from Lehigh in 8th. Peyton Bennett from Lehigh in 7th. Alexis Beckstead from Spikers in 6th. Sage Campbell from Southern Utah County in 5th. Josie Madsen from Spikers in 4th. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County in 3rd. Carissa Nordstrom from Southern Utah County in 2nd, but they're all chasing Uinta Basin's Maddie Van Tassel. Here is Paisley Davis, 15.958. That is a blistering run, and that'll put her in 2nd place on the day. Check that, that'll put her in 6th place on the day. We got one more to go before the drag, where we'll show you our ready board. Here comes Kayla Thurgood from Spikers Rodeo Club around the first. Oh, horse kind of hops up a little bit, and I think that's going to do it. A no time for Thurgood. Let's go ahead and, as they drag, show you our top 10 on the final results board. And as you can see, it's Maddie Van Tassel in the lead with a 15.82. Carissa Nordstrom in second with a 15.676. You've got the top 6 all within a second of each other. A great horse race here. Josie Madsen from Spikers in 15.796. Sage Campbell from Southern Utah County at a 15.843. Paisley Davis from Southern Utah County at a 15.958. Alexis Beckstead from Spikers in a 16.08. Peyton Bennett from Lehigh in a 16.178. Allison Bush from Lehigh in a 16.255. And rounding out the top 10, it's Adriana Fitzgerald from South Summit with a 16.296. Coming up next, it will be the next 10. So Brooklyn Trapnell from Southern Utah County, Addison Coleman from Wasatch, Presley Peterson from South Summit, Haley Bennett from Southern Utah County, Kylie Nelson from Lehigh, Mackley Larson from Southern Utah County, Holly DeGraw from Spikers, Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River, Ava Hartman from Uinta Basin, and Brooklyn Fowers from Spikers.
You know, I would bet we've got a couple of top cowgirls left here. I bet we get real close to breaking that 15 barrier.
Well, it'll be Sadie Davis, who is the number 8 cowgirl. She's the highest ranked cowgirl in this event here tonight, and she will be in number 32. So we still got one more flight before her, but we are about halfway through our barrel race, and it is Maddie Van Tassel on top with a 15.182.
Well, as we saw in the team roping this morning, just because they're not ranked in the top 20 doesn't mean they can't win the event.
Absolutely.
Or not team roping, tie roping.
Tie down
roping,
yep.
Sorry.
Again, our barrel racing brought to you by Uinta Bosse's. Our results board brought to you by Ready, Safety and Excellence in Industrial Services since 1982.
And a giant thank you to our headline sponsor, Addicted Power Sports,
of course,
out of Evanston. Whether it's for work or play, check them out. They have your best deals on bikes, side-by-sides, UTVs, whatever you need there, give Tim and the guys a call.
It is the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series as we go to Brooklyn Trapnell from Southern Utah County. We'll be in Spanish Fork at the Southern Utah County Rodeo next Friday, so less than a week from now. 3:30 start, 4 o'clock go-round start. Cannot wait for that one. Should be a fun time in Spanish Fork. I was actually looking at the weather at Spanish Fork for next week, and it's about the same, going to be in the 50s, 40s. Perfect timing.
Perfect rodeo weather.
Third call.
And we might have a turnout coming.
South Utah County.
And a turnout for Brooklyn Trapnell. That'll now bring up Addison Coleman from Wasatch. That's over by Heber. She's around the first barrel clean. Now we'll direct her horse to the left-hand side. Bumps that second barrel, but a nice tight turn. Here she comes for the third, and away we go. Headed home. Can she catch the 15-182 by Van Tassel? No. 16-993 for Addison Coleman. 16-993 puts Addison Coleman in 11th place.
Presley Peterson out of South Summit's up next, followed by Hallie Bennett and Kylie Nielsen.
Here we go. As you mentioned, it's Presley Peterson from South Summit. Comes around that second barrel. Already has her eyes set on the third as she's heading around it. Here she comes. Oh, and just looks like the tip of her boot caught that barrel. 22-658, including the penalty for Presley. Let's look at the instant replay brought to you by Cowboy Days. She comes around that second barrel looking good, but right here just brushes a little bit too close. It's literally the toe of her boot that brushes that thing over. Back to live action. Our next barrel racer, Haley Bennett from Southern Utah County. Everybody's still chasing Maddie Van Tassel with that 15-182. Around the first barrel, clean. Sends that big white horse around the second. And on a rocket right now, it is Southern Utah County's Haley Bennett. Can she get it? No. 16.046 for Hallie Bennett. And that currently puts her in 16.046. That puts her fairly high up there. Puts her 8th on the day. Next up, it'll be Lehigh's Kylie Nielsen. As she comes up around the first clean. 15-182 by Van Tassel is what everybody's chasing. As they are loading them and firing them out of a gun fast and furious here. Here we come around the barrel number 3. Goes a little bit wide to avoid crushing the hat. 16.010. And that is going to put Kylie Nielsen into the top 10. It puts her exactly 8th on the day, or on the performance. Again, we are aware that there were runs that took place earlier in the day, but we didn't cover it. But from what we've seen, she sits 8th in the afternoon performance.
Mackley Larson now.
From Southern Utah County. Good run, round 2, but she just dragged the foot a little bit, and that's going to cost her run. 22-561 for Mackley. As we look at the replay right here through the second, she looks so good, but just the arch of her foot brushing that thing. A big thank you to Cowboy Days for sponsoring our instant replay. Cowboy Days, the best little rodeo in the West. Over Labor Day weekend in Evanston, Wyoming. Holly DeGraw from Spikers Rodeo Club. Next to go, around 1, good. Headed for the second one. Grabs the horn of that saddle and directs it around number 2. Yes. Heads for the third and final barrel. Oh, cuts down a little close, and she gets around it. Here she comes, looking to stop the clock. 17-5 5-3-0 for Holly DeGraw. So it will be Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River. By the way, that puts Holly DeGraw in 14th place. Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River, round one. This is a home rodeo for her as Bear River, Morgan, and Rich are co-hosting this rodeo. Around the second one, good. She's going to take a run at the lead here. It's 15.182 from Van Tassel. And the time, is it enough? 15.871, just outside of that one. 15.871, great run by Kaylee Sorensen. And that puts her in 6th place. That'll bring up Ava Hartman from Uinta Basin. Here she comes. Round one, good. Up to go to the right first. Now directs it around the left. Good turn there. Headed for the money barrel. That third one, and now you can root her home as she comes to the line. Stops the clock. I'm waiting for the announcement. 17.663. Barrel racing and pole bending, the only event where they count it down to the 1,000th of a second. We'll see 10th of a seconds in our other events.
And as we've seen today, we need those thousandths of a second.
Yeah. Your top five right now, it's Sage Campbell from Southern Utah County in 5th. Josie Madsen from Spikers in 4th. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County in 3rd. Carissa Nordstrom from Southern Utah County in 2nd, but still your leader, Maddie Van Tassel from Uinta Basin with a 15.182. This is our next barrel racer. It's Brooklyn Fowers from Spikers. Here she goes, coming around, and that's a 16.851. And now we will have our drag as the 16.851 puts her in 14th place. Let's show you our top 10. According to the Ready Results Board, in 10th place, it is Haley Bennett from Southern Utah County with a 16.046. Kylie Nielsen from Lehigh in 9th with a 16.01. Alexis Beckstead from Spikers and a 16.008. Paisley Davis from Southern Utah County in a 15.958. Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River in a 15.871. Sage Campbell from Southern Utah County with a 15.843. Josie Madsen from Spikers with a 15.796. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County with a 15.704 in 3rd. In 2nd place, it's Carissa Nordstrom from Southern Utah County with a 15.676. But laying down the gauntlet and setting the bar high, it's Maddie Van Tassel from Uinta Basin, 15.182. Matt Petrie, your thoughts?
I'm excited. This next flight of cowgirls, we've got the number 8 cowgirl in the state, and I think she's going to give Van Tassel a run for her money.
And she will be first out as our next 10 barrel racers will be following. It's Liv Rockhill. And then Sadie Davis from Southern Utah County. Of course, Rockhill from South Summit. Sadie Davis, though, is the number 8 cowgirl in the state in the barrel racing. She is the highest ranked contestant here in the afternoon performance. Hattie Mae Bigler from Southern Utah County. Then you'll have McKenna Addington from West Desert. Kendra Van Wagenin, yeah. Van Wagenin from Spikers. Courtney Hamblin from Spikers. Sienna Allen from Lehigh. Cajun Watterson from Southern Utah County. Macy Christensen from Lehigh.
Just a quick note there, Cajun Watterson's number 14 in the state, so she could figure in here too.
Could be a big one here as they are resetting the barrels. As the classic John Deere Green by the late, great Joe Diffie plays on the loudspeaker. That's the other thing I love about rodeo. The music is second to none.
There is no better music in the world.
Here we go. we're ready to get started with our next flight. It'll be Liv Rockhill from South Summit. Sadie Davis on deck. Hattie Mae Bigler in the hole. And here we go around the first barrel. This is Liv Rockhill. Around the second one, just bothered that one a little bit. Now comes around the third one. And, oh, that is a heartbreaker for Rockhill as we look on the Cowboy Days replay. 20.955 for Liv Rockhill. But you just see she barely brushes that one. I'll now bring up Sadie Davis, South Utah County, number 8 in the state. This is the favorite to take the afternoon session. Here we go, around the first barrel, and she bumps it. And just like that, Van Tassel takes a big sigh of relief as she knows she has just dodged a huge competitor. As here comes Sadie Davis from Southern Utah County.
15.635 plus 5, 20.6.
20.635 for Sadie Davis. I'll bring up Hattie Mae Bigler from South Utah County. Our next barrel racer up. This is the event with the most participants. We've got 41 barrel racers, 4 bareback riders, 3 steer wrestlers, 12 saddle bronc riders, 4 JV bull riders, 15 varsity bull riders, and 32 team roping teams. Good turn by Hattie Mae Bigler. 16.113. That will put Bigler in the conversation. 16.113 in 11th, just outside the top 10. Here comes McKenna Addington from West Desert. On deck, though, will be Kendra Van Wagenen from Spikers and Courtney Hamlin from Spikers in the hole. Here it is. It's West Desert's McKenna Addington. Around the first barrel, now grabs the horn, now directs it. Ooh, brushes that second one. Can she leave all of them standing? Yes, she will. Here she comes. What's going to be the time? 16.882 for McKenna Addington. As we look at our Cowboy Days replay right here around this first one, look at how close she comes to that second one. A great turn. Just
rustled in the breeze.
Exactly. Took care of business. And that'll bring up our next barrel racer. It's Kendra Van Wagenen from Spikers Rodeo Club entering the arena and gets to full speed, crosses the eye, and away we go. Round 1. Black Horse around 2. Here she goes for the third barrel. And around that one, looking for the time. Is it enough? No. 16.159 for Van Wagenen. That is a very respectable time. Puts her just outside of the top 10. 12th to be exact. Here comes Courtney Hamlin from Spikers Rodeo. And we have got 6 more left. Unbelievable how fast we've gotten through these 41 barrel racers. Hamlin around the first to the right. Now she'll come around the left-hand barrel, heads for the final barrel, and she'll get herself a clean run here in Tremonton. Sends the horse home. 17.630 for Courtney Hamlin. I'll bring up Sienna Allen of Lehigh. Then it'll be Cajun Watterson and Macy Christensen. Christensen, Cajun Watterson, who's on deck, is the number 14 girl in the state, and with the 8 one knocking over a barrel, a chance to jump some spots. But right now it's all about Sienna Allen, who's good through 2. She'll be good through 3. Heading for the line. Trying to beat the 15.82. 15.969. That is going to be a top 10 time. 15.969. Let's see where that puts her at 15.969. It puts her in 8th place. Here's your number 18 or 14 girl in the state, Cajun Watterson. A chance to do some damage here.
Van Tassel's true breath stopper here.
Yeah. Here we go, around the first barrel. Smooth is fast, and it looks very smooth indeed. Watterson around the third one, brings the Palomino home and stops the clock. Is it enough? 15.439, and that is your new leader. 15.439 by Watterson. Oh, wait, they said 15.439, correct? But we got a 15.182, I believed. Was that by Tassel?
15.182 by Van Tassel.
So 15.439 is good enough for second place.
Macy Christensen out of Lehigh now.
Macy Christensen from Lehigh, as you mentioned, yes. Emma Whitaker on deck, and Cody Vincent in the hole, and unfortunately the third barrel goes down. 21.550. That'll bring up Emma Whitaker of Spikers. Will be the final go before they'll drag before the final barrel racer, Cody Vincent, who will have a fresh track all to herself.
All by herself.
Emma Whitaker, Spikers Rodeo, located in Ogden, around the first. Ooh, brush that one. You heard it there. Comes around the second, and unfortunately that's going to be a 5-second penalty. So she'll just kind of pull up and let her ride. Time, 22.449. Yeah, 22.449. And now we will go ahead and show you our top 10. This is unofficial, and of course it's only this round. We do know there were some that were earlier, but 1 second. We're going to get some confirmation on the Van Tassel time real quick, as we are going to get some confirmation on that. But before we do, let's go ahead and put it back to our live cam. Barrel racing brought to you by Uintabosi's #1. What are you waiting for? Uintabosi's #1 in Evanston, Wyoming offers college and career readiness. Classes on-site and online. Visit Uintabosi's #1 at uintaeducation.org. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series, as we are getting a confirmation. 16.182 was the time for Maddie Van Tassel. So we'll go ahead and adjust that, and unfortunately we apologize. So Maddie Van Tassel, we misheard. 16.182, that puts her down in 15th. But it is now Cajun Watterson with the top time of a 15.439. So we apologize about that. We thought he had said 15, but it is 16 for Van Tassel. But Watterson, now your new leader, and we will update that on the ready results board.
One last cowgirl to turn the barrels, and she's got a nice fresh track, so there's no excuse not to come out on top here.
Let's go through your top 10 right now. It is Kylie Nielsen from Lehigh with a 16.01. In ninth, Alexis Beckstead from Spikers in ninth. Sienna Allen from Lehigh in eighth. Paisley Davis from Southern Utah County in seventh. Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River in sixth. Sage Campbell from Southern Utah in fifth. Josie Madsen from Spikers in fourth. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County in third. Carissa Nordstrom from Southern Utah County in second. And they're all chasing the new leader, Cajun Watterson, with a 15.439. Again, apologies for the mess up with the other time as we get ready for our final barrel racer. And it looks like we have our camera frozen. Sorry about that. And around the third one coming home and for a 17.642.
For Cody Vincent out of South Utah County.
And our camera might have gotten disconnected there.
We will dismiss and say thank you to the wonderful barrel racers as we raise up the door and we get ready.
And there we go, camera's back. We apologize for missing that run. But we do have our final results brought to you by Ready Services, Safety and Excellence in Industrial Services since 1982. And in 10th place, or first place, sorry, it'll be Cajun Watterson from Southern Utah County with a 15.39. Carissa Nordstrom in second with a 15.676. Avery Hullinger from Southern Utah County and a 15.704. Josie Madsen from Spikers with a 15.796. Sage Campbell from Southern Utah County in fifth with a 15.843. Kaylee Sorensen from Bear River in a 15.871. Paisley Davis from Southern Utah with a 15.958. Sienna Allen in eighth place with a 15.969. And Alexis Bedstead from Spikers with a 16.08. Kylie Nielsen wraps up the top 10 with a 16.01. So now we get ready for our bareback riding the first rough stock event of the rodeo.
Are you ready for this, Elan?
What's up?
For bareback?
Yep. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fun one. It's brought to you by Y High. Visit Y High Federal Credit Union in Lyman, Green River, Rock Springs, Cheyenne, or Casper for all your new and used auto loans, personal loans, and business and home loans. Y High Federal Credit Union, we're with you. So I think we can zoom in a little bit on that, Dennis, if you raise the camera up a little bit. There we go. And it looks like we are going to go to our bareback riding. Only 4 bareback riders. Of course, bareback riding brought to you by Y High. A big thank you to our barrel racing sponsor, UNCBOSI's number 1.
We'll introduce them a little bit later on, but we have Mr. Rodney Dion and Mr. Chase.
Our first bareback rider is going to be Hayes Hoskins.
Number 4 in the state currently.
Very qualified in being a rescue ranger.
Stock provided to this rodeo by Broken Heart Rodeo.
Because I am much comfortable being on this side of the arena.
One up that way or one down this way?
So it's going to be one at a time in whatever shoe.
We'll take a look at the bucket shoot. We're going to find out which number we're going to start with.
No, hold on one second. Whichever one you see the most people at. Trying to figure out which chute we're going to be coming out of first. As we give them some time to get going. Our bareback riding brought to you by Y High. This is the event where you're hanging on to what's basically a suitcase handle strapped onto the bare back of a horse. You're laying down on the back of it and you're trying to earn points based on the spurring form of the cowboy and also the rankness of the horse. 50 points for the cowboy, 50 points for the horse for a total perfect score of 100.
this is definitely a young man's game.
Absolutely. The most physically demanding of all of the rough stock sports, I would imagine. Right after this, we'll have the saddle bronc riding, which has been described as poetry in motion. You laugh, but it really is.
When it's done right, it certainly is.
We're talking Billy F. Bauer, Ryder Wright, people like that. But in the bareback riding, you look at names like Bruce Ford, Clint Corey, Bobby Moat. Some legends there. Of course, more recently, Casey Field, Tim O'Connell. Those are the big names. But the rough stock has been where Utah High School Rodeo has kind of exploded as of late. Of course, Stetson Wright, Ryder Wright, Casey Field, all alumni of Utah High School Rodeo Association.
And they all started right here.
Yep.
So these are the names of the future to know.
We've got 4 bareback riders. We're going to find out who is first. According to the day sheet, Hoskins should be our first one, but you could mix it up any way you go. All right, it looks like we're going to be on that far right chute for our first bareback rider. Climbing into the chute, as you can see, the cowboy getting ready to go. It'll be the far right chute for this from us.
I don't know who your cowboy is, but he's getting ready to crack back.
We don't know who it is yet. It is number 3 on the day sheet. This is Christopher Staley, second at Spikers. He's currently the number 1 bull rider in the state, so definitely an all-around threat here. He comes to us from Lehigh.
Chris Staley has drawn the horse they call Classy Lady.
Classy Lady, the name of the bronc from Broken Heart Rodeo.
I would bet that she's anything but classy.
Thank you to Mr. Ben Kerman and his crew.
You see the flag, man. So one thing you're going to be keeping an eye on is as soon as that horse comes out the chute for the first 2 jumps, that cowboy's boots have to be on the shoulders of the bronc. That's called the mark out. If you do not do that, you'll see a flag on the dirt, and that unfortunately means a disqualification. That is the worst thing that cowboys fear, is missing out on a great ride. Now, the timing you're looking for, you're going to look for the cowboy's spurs to go on the shoulders of the horse when its feet are down and the hind legs are up. When it's got both feet on the ground, you want the spurs in the air. You'll see it in a minute as Christopher Staley gets ready to go here. Coming to us from Lehigh. Again, second place at Spikers Rodeo number 2 just 2 weeks ago. And here we go. Good mark out here for Staley. Hanging on there, looking for the 8-second whistle. Got it. And we'll have a score in the bareback riding.
Had to hang on there a little bit at the end, but that was a nice ride.
Absolutely. Let's take a look on our Cowboy Days replay board. Waiting for the score. Staley. Waiting for the score from Staley. 69 points for Christopher Staley.
Now, again, all scores are unofficial.
All scores are unofficial, just so you know. But that's what we have here, a 69 for Staley. That'll now bring up Hayes Hoskins.
Your number 4 ranked cowboy in the state.
This is your favorite.
Well, it's Perfomance.
He'll be in that far chute as well. 69 points by Staley is the lead right now. Quarter of the way through our bareback riding, brought to you by Y-High Financial. Visit Y-High Financial Credit Union in Lyman, Green River, Rock Springs, Cheyenne, or Casper for all your new and used auto loans, personal loans, and business and home loans. Y-High Federal Credit Union, we're with you. And here is Hayes Hoskins with you. Staying on the center of that white bronc, and he hangs on. He'll get a score. As the pickup men We'll try to come and grab him and rescue him here.
As your professional pickup man move in, set him to the ground. He can hear you.
Gets him down, and now the crowd lets him know.
Nicely done, Hayes Hoskins. Of the
Hayes
Spikers.
Hoskins with Spikers Rodeo Club.
That horse ran a little bit more than you'd like it to, but still a great ride.
Waiting for the score for Hoskins. A 74-point ride for Hoskins, and he will take the lead. Goes to number 1 in the
I
round.
didn't see it. Ace, that's what they told me. 64.
64. Take that back, not a 74. So it's a 64 correction. So Christopher Staley still holds the lead. So Staley still on top with a 69.
64 points, Hayes Hoskins.
Now we'll move to the chute in the middle of the second bank.
Sure who it is, but here we go.
Here we go. Don't know who that is. And a flag goes down immediately. He missed him out, and it's the ground rough.
Is that Gage Rideout?
Gage Rideout getting a no score on our Cowboy Days replay. You see right here, his feet were down. He needed those feet up. We're going to show that replay one more time. His feet were down. They needed to be up. You see watch his feet right here. They're bent. They're not straight up. You have to have them straight up, and the judges dinged him for it immediately. That's unfortunately a disqualification. But he'll be back. That was Gage Rideout. So it's 69 for Christopher Staley. He's in first. 64 for Hayes Hoskins. He currently sits in second. Waiting for our next Cowboy. Didn't catch who that was if they announced it.
William, it has to be William Guyman.
Yeah, it's got to be William
Emory.
Guyman, out of Emory. The last bareback rider brought to you by Y-High Federal Credit Union. Broken Heart Rodeo from Ogden supplying the rough stock here today. And here we go, final bareback rider, and there's the flag. And unfortunately, Guyman is going to go down. And that's going to do it for the bareback riding, brought to you by Y-High. That is going to go to Christopher Staley. On our final results, brought to you by Ready Services with a 69. Hayes Hoskins comes in second with a 64. Gage Rideout and William Guyman, unfortunately, don't make the whistle as we move on to our saddle bronc riding.
You know, one thing I think it's important to mention is these are the same horses that go to the PRCA rodeos. They're not lesser stock just because they're high school, but these same horses will show up at PRCA rodeos around the region.
Our saddle bronc riding brought to you by My Life Financial. Life is always changing, which means your insurance needs change also. My Life Financial in Evanston, Wyoming can help you with all your insurance needs. Call My Life Financial, 435-557-1370. And I did not catch the name of the first. It'll be Cooper James from West Deserts. It's going to be your first saddle bronc rider. And now this event is like the bareback riding, except they are in a saddle and the spurring motion is the same. You want those feet up on the shoulders when the hind legs are up, and then you want to bring them back towards the saddle when both those hind legs are down. The mark-out rule does apply. Got to hang on 8 seconds for your score. Our first saddle bronc rider, again, it's going to be Cooper Sagers. Here we go. Good. Look at saddle bronc right here. Boom. And unfortunately, he got a little bit under that one there. And they're going to attend to him right now. Hopefully he's okay. Unfortunately, it's a no score for Cooper Sagers. Not fun as he ended up underneath that horse. They're talking to him. It's a dangerous sport. It's always said it's not if you get hurt, it's when you get hurt in the sport of rodeo. And they're going to make sure he's okay. Real quick, want to give a big thank you to our Saddle Bronc riding sponsor, My Life Financial. Again, life is always changing, which means your insurance needs change also. My Life Financial in Evanston, Wyoming can help you with all your insurance needs. Call My Life Financial in Evanston, Wyoming, 435-557-3170. That's 435-557-3170. Good news, they have him sitting up right now. Sager is sitting up.
Well, we've got a minute. We'll talk a little bit about the Evanston Cowboy Days PRCA Rodeo 2.
Of course.
Our replay sponsors over Labor Day weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, he can hear you. He's on his feet.
Oh, good news. He's on his feet. They're going to help him out.
Is always nice. They're going to walk him to the back of the bucket shoot. You may think he is in San Francisco right now.
Took quite a hit.
Quite a hit, but it's good to see him on his feet.
Yep. They're going to help him out. They're going to keep an eye on him. The stock and the Cowboys are paramount in rodeo. They always take good care of him, as he will be helped out of the arena.
Don't ever want to guess what happened, but
no,
seeing somebody on their feet is always a good sign.
And we're off to that far bucking chute. Look at finding out who it is.
Cooper James.
Cooper James. 12th on the start sheets.
He has drawn.
Of course, Broken Heart Rodeo brought in some of the best stock. As James will go ahead and take his seat on that saddle. We wish nothing but the best for Cooper Sagers. Number 8 in the state right now. Cooper James, though, with a chance to do something fun here. Cooper James, rather. From West Desert Rodeo Club. Right now, that Bronc might be leaning on his leg a little bit. As you can see, that left shoulder's kind of dropped a little bit. So they're going to try to, if that is the case, you got to get that Bronc off of that leg and get it to stand up straight. And that does indeed seem to be what's going on right now.
That's exactly what's going on. He's asking for a little help there.
Not a comfortable feeling there.
1,200-pound animal leaning on your leg against a steel post is not fun.
Nope. So he's going to get set, get his feet up, get ready to go. Remember that mark-out rule is applied, and that's looks like they might have got him at the gate. But James, look at this. This is a great spur ride. Has the feet where he needs to be. He's tapped. He makes the whistle, but there's a flag on the dirt. And that means a disqualification. I believe they got him at the gate for missing him out.
Well, we see some dirty laundry on the ground. That means he failed to mark the animal out. It's going to be a no score.
No score for Cooper James.
For Cooper James.
He's shaking his head as if saying, I don't know if that's correct.
Everything was perfect about that ride except the beginning.
Yep, that looked very, very good for Cooper James. Now we go to that second chute, middle chute in that second bank. Who's this? This looks.
We stay in the middle bucket chute on the far side.
Waiting to find out who this rider is.
Cole Thyre,
This is Cole Thyre from Spikers Rodeo. Still no score in the saddle bronc riding. Looking for our first 8-second ride. And here we go. And there we go. And he's foul. They get him for a flag there. Ooh, the foot gets hung up. And that's a no score. Good to see Thurl get up. And no score for the third straight saddle bronc rider. We need a score here, ladies and gentlemen. And our saddle bronc riding brought to you by My Life Financial.
We have number 2 and number 4 in the state coming up, so I'm pretty sure we have a good chance of seeing somebody right here. Looks like we'll move down to the first bank now. Some chutes. And the third chute.
I will tap your shoulder when I want you to pull away.
We're switching them out. We're going to talk about UN Adventure Company.
All right, back to work in our saddle bronc riding.
Into the UN Mountains on a supercharged Polaris Ranger.
The far right chute in the closest bank of buck and chutes here. You know, in the PRCA rodeos, they usually have sponsors on each of the chute boards, so you can say the My Local Radio chute or the, you know what, we need to do that for Cowboy Days. We need to get a chute sponsorship.
I wonder if we should suggest that for the rodeo here.
Right.
Put some boards on your chutes.
Right. But we got it. It's the nearest bank, far right chute. Didn't catch who that is. He's got a helmet on. Apologies, didn't catch the name of who this is right here. Here we go. Good mark. Oh! And he gets bucked off fairly early. Here's another look at the replay. And that was Robert McLaughlin from, I'm looking for it, sorry, from Spikers Rodeo Club. Hayes Madsen next up from Spikers.
These Broncs are putting the rough in rough stock today.
They are. It's looking like the eliminator pin at the National Finals Rodeo right now, as we are still looking for our first qualified ride in the saddle bronc riding. This is Spiker Rodeo's Hayes Madsen. He's in that middle chute. You can see him in the black hat, tan vest. Madsen took second at Spikers number 2 just 2 weeks ago in the bronc riding. Madsen from Spikers Rodeo Club out of Ogden, Utah. Trying to get that horse to stand up, pick its head up. As we await the beginning of this bronc ride. Trying to get it to stand up straight. Looks like it's leaning a little bit on him. We saw that earlier. Here we go, nod of the head. Spurs go up, and here we go. Here comes Hayes Madsen. Good looking bronc ride here. Oh, he's just launched out of the saddle at the very end there.
We got a little hanky to start the ride, too.
Let's take a look at the Cowboy Days instant replay. He's so close. Look at this. He's right where he needs to be. And then he got thrown to the back of his saddle and just launched out of it. So unfortunately, that is a no score. And as you mentioned, the Broncs putting the rough in rough stock here today. That is our 5th straight no score. William Guyman from Emory will be our next cowboy. On Easter eggs, Easter egg from Broken Heart Rodeo.
That's fitting for this time of year.
Yeah. Now it looks like they'll have him in the far left chute. That is chute number 1. William Guyman from Emory. Straw hat, tan vest with the neck roll on it. And you could definitely use those in the rough stock events. Trying to get that horse, again, stand up, get in the right position. He's got him where he wants him. Here he goes. Gets the feet out. And, oh, launched out of the saddle. And another flag. And I am officially dubbing this the eliminator pin. 6 straight no scores.
The Box Elder County Fairgrounds eliminator pin.
Yeah. So, if they follow the day sheet, they've been going from the top to the bottom. We should see Keaton Connolly. We'll see if that's accurate, though, as they are running over to that middle chute in that far bank. And it is Keaton Conley from West Desert Rodeo Club. It'll be that far chute. West Desert over by Tooele. Just learned that from our expert announcer. High Chaparral, the name of the Bronc that he'll be using as his dance partner. He's the only West Desert, or check that. He's one of 3 West Desert Bronc riders in the South Bronc riding. 4. Gage Rydalk, of course, the favorite from West Desert as well. After this, it'll be the steer wrestling, brought to you by Addicted Power Sports, and then the bull riding, and then the team roping. Just getting started here on a Saturday night at Tremonton.
Even though we're inside, we can see the sun shining bright outside, which makes it feel a little bit warmer.
Braden McGillian in the chat asking, is the small arena not being broadcast? We were at the small arena this morning. Unfortunately, we're pretty limited in manpower, and we can't be 2 places at once, so we did the small arena this morning, and we are in the large arena this afternoon. We apologize if that causes any disappointment, but tried to do the best we could to spread out our coverage here.
We do appreciate you watching, though.
It's Connolly from West Desert. We need an 8-second ride here. We need a qualified ride. Oh, and he comes out of the saddle almost immediately. Take a look at our Cowboy Days replay right now. Just lost his seat immediately. And that goes down as a no score for Conley. High Chaparral wins again.
You know, there's something about a paint horse. They're just mean to start with.
And now only 4 left. Jake Marshall, Caden Horrocks, Mark Ellerstein, Monty Christiansen, and Gage Rydalk. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got to count 5 left, I believe.
5 left.
Yeah, there's 5 left. Maybe 4 after this current rider. That is Jake Marshall. Unless one of the 5 I'm seeing on my start sheet is a turnout. It'll be Mark Ellerston from Spikers Rodeo Company. Ellerston looking to knock into that top 20 in the state. A win here would do it, especially if you're the only one to cover tonight. Ellerston getting that horse to set up. Look at how much rein he's got hanging over the side of the shoe.
He's holding him tight.
He's holding him very tight. Number one thing is, though, you got to keep your head down. You watch the best in the business, Billy Etbauer, Dan Mortensen. They always had their chins pointed down. You got to keep that center of gravity right on top of the horse. Here we go. And, oh!
That's a rough landing.
You will not have a headache coming off like that.
Look at this right here. Ellerston, he had the mark out, but just loses his seat on our Cowboy Days instant replay. So that's a no score for Ellerston. Getting towards the end of the Bronc riding, and the Broncs are throwing a shutout.
You know what? We got 2 of the top 5 coming up, though, so there's still hope.
Here's Jake Marshall from Enterprise Rodeo Club in that far right buck and shoot.
Jake Marshall, Gambler.
Gambler is the name of his Bronc. And right now, if you are the Cowboys, you got to figure out a way to get 8 seconds here.
Jacob Marshall. And the Gambler.
Marshall taking a gamble against Gambler.
Shoot number 6.
It's the far shoot. Here we go. Good mark out. Come on, stay with him. Just hang on with him. Nice movement. Keep lifting. Oh! And unfortunately, Marshall just could not keep up with it. You see right here, he looks good, but those horses are dropping low, getting the Cowboys to almost stand up out of the saddle. And that seems to be the problem.
That was 6 seconds of a good 8-second ride.
Ugh. Unfortunately, you got to make the full 8 to get points. And then there are only a few. Waiting to find out who this next Cowboy is. We got to get to the whistle tonight. We cannot have a shutout.
Not tonight.
Here's the number 2 man in the state, Gage Rydalch. If anyone can do it, it's him. He won Spikers 2 weeks ago, coming out of shoot number 2. Gage Rydalch, number 2 in the state. Utah has become a saddle bronc riding state thanks to the rights. I think Coburn Bradshaw also part of that group riding out of Milford, Utah. I think he married into the family, is how that worked.
There's some connection there.
So Utah definitely become a bronc riding state. We need a qualified ride for the Beehive State. Gage Rydalch from West Desert over in Tooele. Here we go, number 2 in the state. He's got to get it done. He's clean at the gate. Nice spur ride. Stay with him. Stay with him. You got it. You got it. And there's your first qualified ride.
There we go.
Gage Rydalch. Let's take another look at that on the Evanston Cowboy Days replay board. Look at this. Rydalch right where his feet needs to be. That is a name to keep your eye on for the future. He should be competing for a world title in July in Gillette, Wyoming. He'll definitely compete for a state title in June in Heber. Score coming in for Gage Rydalch. 72 points for Rydalch. Number 2 man in the state makes good.
2 points. That holds the number 1 spot as we got Caden Horrocks.
That'll now bring up Caden Horrocks, number 4 in the state. Here, oh, he's a turnout. Oh, that's a bummer if that's true.
Ben, you said King was a turnout. Bronc is a turnout.
Oh.
It's going to round them up. It's going to be 72 points. Gage Reinald. We head to the bar.
Ken Horrocks
Let's go to the Bulldogging.
will
72
be a turnout. And that's it. Gage Reinald takes the Saddle Bronc riding, brought to you by Y High Financial. Let's get to our final results, brought to you by Ready. And as you mentioned, it's one ride, but it's enough to take the victory home. Gage Reinald with a 72 points gets the job done. We try to get that video going again. Unfortunately, our replay not working for that one. But let's move on to the Bulldogging, the steer wrestling, brought to you by
Addicted Power Sports.
Thank you. Addicted Power Sports, not only are they we'll be going to the timed event shoot, and we're going to have to zoom in a little bit on that one, but not only are they the hang on one second. Why don't you take care of this for me really, really quick there.
All right. Steer wrestling is a big man sport, the linebackers of the sport. Looks like we've got 3 steer wrestlers this afternoon. Sam Hatterley out of Wasatch, ranked number 7. Quade Kosoff, ranked number 5. And Casey Horton out of Wasatch, ranked number 11. This sport, you watch the hazer turn it into the bulldogger, and the bulldogger trying it just right. Try to take that steer down.
All right, our Bulldogging brought to you by Addicted Power Sports, title sponsor of the Addicted High School Rodeo Series, Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series on mylocalradio.com. Big thank you to Addicted Power Sports for flipping the bill for this one. This has been a fun last few days, as the Sal Bronc riding did not disappoint. Gage Reinald takes the win in the Sal Bronc riding, 72 points, the only qualified ride, and he earned every little bit of it.
He did. I was a little nervous we wouldn't see one, but he pulled through for us.
All right, Addicted Power Sports. Whether it's for work or play, check out Addicted Power Sports' selection of dirt bikes, road bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. Addicted Power Sports in Evanston, Wyoming, 307-799-7533. As we await to see our 3 Bulldoggers, it's Sam Hatterley, Quade Kosoff, and Casey Horton. Here's our first Bulldogger. Don't know who will be first. As you can look over on the bucking chute side, they're bringing the bulls in. You thought we had a lot of Sal Bronc riders. Well, we got 15 varsity bull riders, 14 JV bull riders.
I've never met a person that doesn't like bull riding, so that's a good flight.
And we'll have 32 team roping teams.
We're going to go to Sam Hatterley.
That'll be Sam Hatterley, number 7 in the state from Wasatch Rodeo Club in Heber.
Sam's currently ranked 7th in the state, so we should see a good time here.
Hatterley on the right side of your screen. It's a timed event. The barrier rule applies as well. The steer has a collar around its neck. It's not a complete collar. It's tied together by a little bit of a hair string. Once the steer gets out of reach of that collar, then the barrier releases. If the cowboy leaves before that time, that's called a broken barrier, and that's a 10-second penalty. Absolutely kills your time. In steer wrestling, the clock does not stop until all four of the steers' legs are pointing in the same direction. Sam Adderley from Wasatch Rodeo Club in Heber. Only 3 steer wrestlers tonight. Steer wrestling brought to you by Addictive Power Sports. And here we go. Oh, and he might have overrun the steer just a little bit.
That steer came out a little slower than you'd like him to.
Yep. Watch him coming out of the start. Came out a little bit slower, and Hatterley can't do much with that. That'll now bring up Bear River Rodeo Club's Cade Quassif. No time for Sam Hatterley. Quade Quassif, Bear River, number 5 in the state. He gave the invocation, one of the senior honors as well. Here we go. And he takes off, gets to that one. Steer takes him for a little bit of a ride. Come on, Quade, finish it off. Hook the nose, kick it over. Yeah.
It's going to be 11.7.
11.7 for Quade Quassif. And then we have our final steer wrestler. It is Casey Horton. Number 11 in the state from Wasatch Rodeo Club. And then right after this, we'll have the bull riding. It's an honor to be able to bring high school rodeo to mylocalradio.com for the first time. These are athletes. They work just as hard as all the other athletes we have the pleasure to cover. And we're happy to add rodeo cowboys and cowgirls to the list.
Big amount of appreciation to all of our sponsors that made this possible so that we could be here bringing this to you.
Here we go. Oh, and he overrun him. The steer came out slower than he wanted him, and he shakes his head. We'll see if he wants him or not. He shakes his head no. So Quassif will win the performance. Williams from South Summit wins overall, but our final results read it's Cade Quassif from Bear River Rodeo Club with an 11-7, winning the steer wrestling brought to you by Addictive Power Sports. Whether it's for work or play, check out Addictive Power Sports' selection of dirt bikes, road bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. As we go back to the bucking chutes for the big event, it's the bull riding. Brought to you by Addicted Power Sports. And it looks like our first bull rider is about ready to get started. Again, we've got 4 JV bull riders, 15 varsity bull riders, a full slate. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the varsity bull riders are ranked. All 4 of the JV bull riders are ranked as well. Now to find out who can come out on top in the bull ride. The bull riding, of course, brought to you by Addictive Power Sports as well. Go to bucket chute number 3, so the chute on the far right. As he gets in there, takes his wrap. We can find out who this cowboy is.
Caden Kellenhofer, Wasatch Rodeo Club. He's drawn the bull they call Woo.
Caden Kellenhofer of Wasatch. So we will start with the varsity bulls. Caden Kilhofer coming from buck and shoot number 3. Broken Heart Rodeo is the rodeo company providing the bucking stock for this one.
Looks like Caden's looking to move into the top 20 with this ride.
Pulling the bull rope nice and tight. He'll take the wrap. Looks like a right-handed bull rider. We'll see what this bull does if it goes away from him or to him. Slides right up onto the bull. Again, this is Caden Kellenhofer of Wasatch Rodeo Club in Heber. Our bullfighters out there, those cowboy lifesavers. Here we go. That one goes away from his hand, and he drops towards the right side. It'll be a no score for Kellenhofer. Let's take a look at that ride on the Evanston Cowboy Days instant replay board. Waiting for his chance here, and you see right here, it kind of came out straight and then went away from his hand. He loses his seat, slides off to the right, and that's the end of the day for Kellenhofer. I'll bring up Cooper Jacobs from South Utah County. Chute number 2, this middle chute on your screen.
Cooper's number 3 in the state right now.
This is a big ride right here by a big-time bull rider in the Beehive State. If you'd have told me that there's a possibility we'd have more bull rides than bronc rides, I'd have said you're nuts.
I'd have bet you $50 on that one.
Here we go. Here's Cooper James. Away from his hand. Nice move there, staying with him. Come on, gets on top of him. Bull kind of quits on him a little bit, and that's going to be a qualified ride, and we've equaled the number of bronc rides we've had. Cooper James needs to move. Let's see what the score is. Oh, replay malfunction a little bit. Jacobs waiting for his score. Shepard will be the next cowboy. 58 points for Cooper James. Or Cooper Jacobs, excuse me. So 58 points for that cowboy. I'm going to bring up Jet Shepard from West Millard. Ranked 12th in the state. That middle chute is where he's going to come from. We've got that 58 to be the top scorer. Waiting for the nod from Jet Shepard. West Millard Rodeo Club, here we go. That one into his hand, and he's in some trouble. Oh, and comes down hard. Crawls away. Thank goodness he is okay. Let's take a look at that on the Cowboy Days replay board. Shepard gets in a little bit of trouble going off towards the side of that bull. Luckily, he gets out of that okay, but it is a no score here on the bull riding, brought to you by Addicted Power Sports. And will now set the stage for our next cowboy.
Here we go, number 14.
Number 14, Quincy Richards from Sevier County.
Jim Dandy.
Jim Dandy is the name of the bull, and
Jim Dandy.
That's a bit of a Jim Dandy. Good-looking white bull in the chute. Chute number 2. That seems to be where they're gonna. It seems like they're loading them into chute 3 and then scooting them over to chute 2. Quincy Richards from Sevier County. Cooper Jacobs from Southern Utah County in the lead with 58 points.
Good bull, they call Jim Jim.
Richards.
Is the calf, they call Jim Dandy. And Quincy Richards.
Trying to slide up on his bull rope. And he's going to have to, something happens, he's going to have to repull. This is very important. You have to get this right. And we're going to roll over to chute number 3, it looks like. So 1 chute over.
We're going to find out a little more.
So Quincy Richards going to have to wait another turn, and we're going to go ahead and move on to chute number 3. Find out who that is.
Hold the button longer. Then talk. All right, here we go. Pokey. Landon Houghton. Pokey Houghton, Dixie Rodeo Club. He's drawn
So it's going to be
all
Dixie's
ways.
Landon Houghton will be the next rider to go.
Number 5 in the state.
Yep. Leading right now is Cooper Jacobs.
Tough talent right here, Pokey.
He comes in as the number 3 man in the state.
The bull he is drawn. Shoe number 4 for your Cowboy. Dixie Rodeo Club.
Landon Houghton, or making sure that there wasn't a JV bull rider on the Dixie Rodeo Club. Taking his time right now, Landon Houghton of Dixie. That 58 by Cooper Jacobs sits atop the board. We need a second ride, though. Here we go, into his hand. Big chance here, stay with him. Oh, and he drops behind. That bull had some moves for him.
Picking the bull's head up and taking him back to the other side. No score for Pokey Houghton.
So Houghton comes up with a 0.
And as we get ready for your next Cowboy to go.
Look at the replay board on Evanston Cowboy Days is Houghton just kind of got dumped out the back door, and that bull said, and my day is done. We'll go back to Quincy Richards from Sevier.
This is where we bear down, we slide up, and we ride.
Trying to get that wrap right. Preparation is vital in these rough stock events. He nodded his head, but the chute kind of stuck on him. Here we go. Richards, good ride into his hand, trying to get something going. Oh, and down he goes. Nice long horns there on Jim Dandy, though. And he goes out without any problem. Let's take a look at that on the Cowboy Days replay board. Just kind of got dumped out the back door. That'll now bring up, what did they say?
Bull's name is Bad Habit.
Trying to figure out who that Cowboy was. I think it might be Ryan Keel. Braxton Farnsworth, sorry, from Uinta Basin, is our next bull rider, number 14 in the state. He's going to be coming out of that chute right there. Here we go, Farnsworth. Oh! That bull decides to go for a little bit of a round trip. And a smart bull there by Farnsworth, that Farnsworth draws. Let's take a look at it on the replay board. You see right here, Farnsworth, that bull fakes it's going into his hand, then fakes away, then finally throws him back in. And that's it, but 58 points has the lead right now. Next bull rider. Dalton Allred from Emory. Won Spikers Rodeo number 2. Sorry, took 7th place at Spikers Rodeo number 2.
Dalton's currently the 9th ranked cowboy in the state.
Slides up on that bull rope. All red. Awaiting a chance to nod his head and get going. See what moves this bull throws at the young bull rider. Right now, though, it is Cooper Jacobs from Southern Utah County, number 3 bull rider in the state, on top with 58. But still to come, the number 1 man, Christopher Staley, who won the bareback riding earlier. Here, this is a promising one. Staying high, going into his hands. Stay with it. Oh, just probably about a 7-second ride as we look at that one on the Cowboy Days replay. That was right where it needed to be. And then he just gets flung back at the last minute. No score there for Dalton Allred. That was a great looking ride too. Colt Glazier of Dixie Rodeo Club in St. George.
Colts number 6 in the state right now.
Now we're entering some big names in the state of Utah when it comes to high school bull riding. Trying to get the rope all rosined up. The heat creates some sticky for the glove. Colt Glazer from Dixie Rodeo Club in St. George. Bull riding brought to you by Addicted Power Sports. It's Jacobs, though, on top of our ready results board with 58 points. You got to think with a score like that, any one of these Cowboys make the whistle, you could be looking at a new leader.
It's a very beatable score.
First, you got to make the whistle, though.
There's that small thing.
Glazer, as you mentioned, number 6 Cowboy in the state. What a jump out of it. Turns back in. Now he's staying on top of him. This could be big. Oh! Glazer safely home, but let's look at this. That move that bull pulled out of the chute, and then that little hop that it made had a chance to put Glazer on top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, it's a no score for Glazer. We've had 2 bull rides in a row that looked like they were going to be huge. Chute number 4. This is the number 1 man in the state, Chris Staley. He won the bareback riding with a 69 points. He could possibly clinch the all-around Cowboy title here if he pulls it off here. 8 seconds away from finding out as soon as that chute gate opens. Staley, again, number 1 in the state. Won the bareback riding with a 69, so he's already had a pretty successful day. Why not double up?
Let's add to it.
Staley, of course, from Lehigh on a Saturday night here in Tremonton. It's almost 6 o'clock. We can call it night, right? Here we go. First one, Staley. Goes into his hand, stays on top of him. Staley with a good ride here. Starts spurring. He's got him. He's got him. Look out, leaderboard. This is going to be a big score. And Staley should go to the top, you would imagine. Waiting for the score. But Staley, you got to think he's at the top.
You got to think so.
Wasn't quick enough on the replay. I got to get better on those highlight rides. But Staley, 71 points. And just like that, Staley is number 1, and we have more qualified bull rides than saddle bronc rides. If you're not an avid rodeo fan, you don't know how crazy that is. Here's Wyatt Marshall from West Desert, number 4 in the state on Soul Shaker. But Chris Staley, with a highlight moment, might be the cowboy of the rodeo. Took the bareback riding, is leading the bulls by a fair margin, 71 points for Chris Staley. Wyatt Marshall, 4 in the state. Here we go. Goes into his hand. Nice spinner here. He's in a little bit of trouble. Hang on, hang on. Oh, and he gets launched at the very end there. Taking a look at our Cowboy Days replay. Unfortunately, no score for Wyatt Marshall.
You know, I just have to ask if Chris Staley's related to the Wrights.
That's just the way he rode that thing.
With the way he's rode both of his animals today.
Only 4 more varsity bull riders remaining. You got Jade Cook, Trace Red, Cooper James, and Ryan Keel. Find out who this is. Whoever it is, he's coming out of chute number 2. It's Cooper James. James, 7 in the state, but they're all chasing the number 1 man in the Beehive State. Christopher Staley won the bareback riding. He could hang on and win the bull riding. 71 points for Staley on a ride that once you saw a certain move that the bull made and you saw how he covered it, you knew he was there. Cooper James, West Desert Rodeo Club. Bull's kneeling on him right now, though. That's not good. They got to get that bull up. If they take too long, James may try to repull, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So he's going to have to start over. We're going to have to roll to another bull rider. They're going to retie, repull. Again, all of that is so important. Tell you what, there's nothing like being behind the chutes during a rough stock event. That's the best seat in the house right there. Watching him take off from the chute. That's why when you watch the NFR, you get a cameraman back there. Cooper James, though, is going to go ahead and take his wraps. All right, and the bull kneeled on him again. It got low on him. Cooper needs him to stand up, and if he can, he's probably going to nod his head fairly quickly because he's sitting there. He's pulling up again. This bull is not being cooperative today. The bull wants out of the chute. Well, if you can get standing up, get set, we can let you out.
Stay on your feet. You only got to work for 8 seconds.
Going to repull one more time. That's a pretty looking bull. White with brown spots, nice long horns. Bull riding, though, in the last 2 decades, it's become common practice to see them wearing helmets, which is a very good thing. When you think about the early 90s with Tuff Hedeman and Cody Custer and Jim Sharp and all those guys, they didn't wear head gear. Probably an improvement to the sport and to the safety of the cowboy. Here we go, Cooper James. James into his hand. Nice spinner. This has got a chance. James is on top of him. Now reverses away from his hand, and that's our third qualified ride.
There is the whistle.
Let's take a look at that on the Cowboy Days replay board. This move right here is when you had an idea, well, a little bit earlier, that he could cover that one. What's the boys going to give him? The boys in the stripes. Cooper James will get our third qualified ride in the bull riding. It's a pretty good average there for bull riding.
Considering 3 times as many bulls have been ridden as Broncs.
Yeah. 74, and he will go to the lead. So James, now your number 1 bull rider with a 74.
We're going to go to Ryland Keel.
And that'll bring up Ryland Keel from Heber.
G-Thing is the name of the bull he has drawn.
Bring up him on G-Thing. In that middle chute. Still got the JV bull riding to happen after this. Ryland Keel.
Ryland Keel takes his right. G-Thing, the name of the bull.
Slides up on his rope.
Bucket chute number 2.
Right-handed bull rider.
He says, I know I can be
Ready to go. Here we go. And he's out. Nice spinner here. Nice little hop here. Big opportunity for Kilo. And he just can't survive that move right there. Look at it right here. That move right here. If he stays on 8 seconds, he's taking the lead.
No doubt on that one.
But unfortunately, he isn't able to finish the ride off, and it's a no score. And then there were 2. Trace Red from Spikers and Jade Cook from Uinta Basin here in the varsity bull riding.
Let's go to Kyle Ecker.
Kyle Ecker.
Emory Club is where he comes home. He's drawn the bull they call Hard Case.
So there are 3 left. And, of course, the one I didn't mention is the one that's next.
I'll take more bulls all day long.
Oh, yeah. Kyle Ecker trying to get into the top 20. But right now they're all chasing Cooper James with a 74. Kyle Ecker from Emory.
Down to 2.
We might have had a scratch as we're down to 2.
Yep.
Here we go, Ecker. Big bull spins him around, and that's a no score. Let's take a look at the instant replay board here. As Ecker nods his head, that bull immediately kind of goes into his hand, but he makes a hard stop almost. Hard change in position, and that really throws off Ecker.
Jade Cook, Uinta Basin.
Jade Cook from Uinta Basin, so Trace Red must be a turnout. But Jade Cook from Uinta Basin, only thing separating Cooper James from a win here at Tremonton in 2023.
Ben, is this number 1? You know if this is the Cook kid?
Cook is actually technically competing in the JV bull riding.
He is.
He's number 6 in the JV bull riding.
Jade Cook, Joseph Wells, the name of the bull he has drawn as we begin our JV bucket.
So this will be the JV bull riding.
Team ropers, we've got 4 to go.
So we will clean that up. So that means the varsity bull riding is won by Cooper James from West Desert. As we provide that with you on our ready final results. Only 3 qualified rides. Cooper Jacobs get the 58 from Southern Utah. Christopher Staley, the number 1 man in the state, with a 71 in second. But it's all Cooper James with a 74 on our ready results board. Back to live action. The JV bull riding. Jade Cook, number 6 in the state in this particular event. This is the younger bull riders, the future. The slightly littler bull riders. Good looking ride here by Cook. Oh, and down he goes out the back. Nice move here by that bull. Cook survives kind of a tilting type move there, and that's a no score. So your bull riding taken by Cooper James with the 74. These are the JV bulls. I'll bring up Creed Butler. And they're giving him a first call. He might turn out. We'll see. And we're going to move on to Braxton Richmond from South Summit.
He's your number 3 JV bull rider in the state right now.
At the bottom of the day sheet, Weston Simpson from Wasatch, your number 1 JV bull rider. Here we go, Richmond. Oh, and goes out the back. He's all right. Thank goodness for that. But this bull went towards the left, but he was out of position and fortunately hits the arena floor. I'll bring up Simpson Weston, the number 1 JV bull rider in the state, and possibly our final bull rider of the night. Captain America, the name of the bull. I saw this one actually at the Spikers Rodeo. Pretty good one here. Big thank you to the Utah High School Rodeo Association for allowing us to broadcast this weekend. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And a big thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. We got the team roping coming up after this, and then that will be it. Only 32 teams. Sliding up on his bull rope, Weston Simpson, number 1 JV bull rider in the state. Waiting for the go-ahead. Here we go. Bad-looking bull. Goes into his hand. Simpson showing why he is one of the future stars of high school rodeo, but he slapped him, and that's a no score.
And we're going to be down early.
And unless Creed Butler shows up, that is going to do it for the JV bull riding.
Creed Butler, are you here? The last and final call as your bull is now turned out.
And that's going to do it for the JV bull riding. So, no score for the JV bulls. But in the varsity bull riding, it is Cooper James from West Desert taking it with a 74. Christopher Staley, the number 1 man in the state, taking it second place with a 71 from Lehigh. Cooper Jacobs with a 58 in third. Everybody else no score. As we get ready for the team roping, brought to you by Cowboy State Realty. With unparalleled industry knowledge, experience, and local expertise, Cowboy State Realty offers the Southwest Wyoming real estate experience you've been looking for. Give us a call today, 307-200-4332.
As we are heading
back to the roping side of things for the team roping. As our first team looking for the right day sheet. Apologies.
Looks like Brett Milner and Hattie Mae Bigler.
So Milner and Bigler will be our first team in the team roping.
I think it's interesting to note in team roping here, it is a co-ed sport.
It is. Team roping involves a header and a heeler. First up, the header will rope the head of the steer, then turn it towards the heeler, whose job it is to cleanly heel the steer, meaning rope both back legs. Both of them will take a dally around, meaning wrapping the rope around the horn of the saddle, and then the clock stops when both horses face each other. Our first three teams, it's going to be Brett Milner and Hattie Mae Bigler, both from Southern Utah Rodeo Club. Then it'll be Burke Austin and Tate Crandall from Southern Utah. And then Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis. I think we saw Watterson win the barrels not too long ago. Let's go while we wait the start of the roping. It'll be Milner on the head and side. Hattie Mae Bigler, who we saw in the morning performance, on the heeling. Heeler will come out from the left side of the timed event chute. The header out of the right. It's the header that is going to be responsible for the barrier. Barrier rules are in play. So remember that.
It's Tremonton time as we get ready for Brett Milner and Hattie Bigler.
Here's Brett Milner and Hattie Mae Bigler.
Milner and Bigler, your first team, they'll be followed by Austin and Crandall, Watterson and Davis.
And like we saw in the barrel racing, they'll probably bring him in. Here we go. Here's the head catch. Oh, and he missed it. Brett Milner, no time.
Austin, Tate Crandall, South Utah County, your next team to go. They'll be followed by Watterson and Davis.
So that'll now bring up our next team. Burke Austin and Tate Crandall from Southern Utah Rodeo Club. Team roping, probably one of the most accessible of the rodeo events. You hear plenty of times about people just going out and team roping for fun.
Absolutely. You see it on ranches all over the region.
Kind of like cowboy golf.
There you go.
There is actual cowboy golf, but I mean, people do it as a
hobby.
As a hobby, way to relax. Nice head catch there from Burt. And the heeler catch. Oh, and it's going to be one hind foot, so +5, so an 11.6
And 10 at the line.
for.
21.
Oh, and they also got dinged at the barrier, 21.6.
Including the penalty. 66 for Austin and Crandall. Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis.
We'll now bring up Watterson and Britton. Watterson on the head and side, won the barrel racing. Britton Davis on the heel inside.
They're going to be followed by Olberg and Perry Goes and Petros. Be ready.
Watterson and Davis pulling into the roper's box. With the time to beat, a 21.66. Here they come, Watterson and Davis. Here's Watterson. Nice head catch as she wraps the dally around, and the cleaning it up. How about a clean run? Oh, but he broke the barrier. So it's to 16.78. Your new leader for Watterson is Watterson and Davis at 16.78. So Watterson and Davis with a 16.78 lead the team roping currently.
We've got Oberg and Perry out of San Pete next here.
And a hind foot, so they got to get tight. They got the horse. They need the horses to face each other before it stops. So 12.5 goes to 17.
12.55 plus 5 goes to
17.5.
17.55, including the penalty. 17.55 for JC and Matt Perry. Gentry Goza, Riker.
I'll bring up Gentry Goza and Riker Petros from Uinta Basin.
They'll be followed by Horton and Hatter
Here's the 1678 by Watterson Davis is the top mark to chase down as the Una Basin team pulls in. Again, it's Gentry Goza on the heading side, Riker Petros on the heeling side. Horton and Hatterley from Wasatch on deck.
As we wait again, it was a wonderful day yesterday as we had our cutting performance yesterday morning.
Here we go as
Right here in this arena as
Goza
well
and
as
Petros
the contest, we introduced your
right into the box.
as your queen and her representatives at the beginning of the show. It was a wonderful day. Also, they shot yesterday over in Logan.
Through 4 teams.
We want to say thank you to our
And the leaders,
firearms. They are
Watterson and
of our shooting
Davis.
competition located here in Utah. The best there is when it comes to shooting and hunting supplies.
1678, still looking for that first clean run of the evening.
Gentry goes up. Riker Petros of the Una Basin.
Gentry goes in, Riker Petros, Una Basin, Casey Horton, Sam Hatterley from Wasatch on deck, and then you got Riley Russell from Spikers and Trevor Johnson from West Desert in the hole. Just because you're not on the same rodeo club doesn't mean you can't rope together.
You'll see that quite often all the way from high school through the PRCA.
Right now, the number 1 header in the state, in the world, comes from Roosevelt, Utah. His partner, Alberta. Never know. Here we go. Here's Goza and Petros. Goza with a good head catch. Now turns it around. Petros can't clean it up, and it's a no time.
Riker comes in a weak miss. No time for Gentry and Riker. No time. Casey Horton and Sam Hatterley of Wasatch.
I'll now bring
will
up
be your next team to go. Double kids from up in my neck of the woods.
Casey Horton and Sam Hatterley from Wasatch Rodeo Club in Heber. And you'll have Russell and Johnson, Larson and Draper are the next 2 teams after them.
Sam Hatterley is the number 6 healer in the state right now.
So do they give out a championship for heading and healing, or is it overall team roper like what they used to do in the PRCA?
I believe it's overall team.
Here we go. A little bit late is Horton. Tries to get that rope on there to fall in, to cinch it, but it slips off the horns. And a no time for Horton and Hatterley. Take a look at that on the Cowboy Days instant replay board. You see he gets here, but that rope just doesn't fall over the head. It slips off the horn. And that is the end of the day for Horton and Hatterley. Here comes Riley Russell and Trevor Johnson. Russell from Spikers, Johnson from West Desert. Russell nods the head. She's responsible for the barrier. Looks like she's clean. Chases this steer down. And it's going to be an illegal head catch, so she just lets go of it anyways. So it's a no time for Russell and Johnson. Let's get a look at that on the replay board, brought to you by Cowboy Days. You see right there, the rope goes under the steer. That fit would have gone around the torso. That's an illegal head catch. So she saw that and just let go of the rope and said, you know what, I'll take the no time.
Again, in good conscience of animal safety.
575 from this morning is the leader, but unfortunately we don't have the results from this morning. So we're keeping score for the performance only, but we do understand a 575 blistering time leads from Olson and Olson. Mackley, Larson, and Zandon Draper, each from Southern Utah Rodeo Club. Larson just off the mark there, and that's going to be a no time.
In no time.
It's the most accessible of rodeo events, but no one said it's the easiest of events.
Is there an easy rodeo event?
Absolutely not. Next up will be the Cumbies. It's Logan and Keegan Cumbie from Spikers Rodeo Club. As what's a rodeo without Chris Ledoux? It's not a rodeo. That's what it is.
You know, I've heard that twice today, and I'm not even a little bit tired of it.
I don't think we said it on air the other time.
No, it was before we started, but it's still Ledoux.
Logan Cumbie on the head side. Keegan Cumbie on the heel side. From Spikers Rodeo Club, Cumbie. Loop was too big, and the steer just waltzed through it. That's a no time for the Cumbies. I'll now bring up the Martins, Cash Martin and Cadence Martin from Spikers, followed by Chad Reber and Bubba Johnson. Reber from Enterprise and Johnson from West Desert. With a name like Bubba Johnson, you know he was born to be a team roper. Martin Cadence taking on, or Cadence Marsh with Cass Martin. So Cadence Martin, Cash Martin. Your next team to go. Cadence with a good looking head catch, turns it up for the heel. Oh, and can't catch the heel shot. That'll do it for their time on the Cowboy Days replay board. Great head catch there by Cadence Martin. But it's a team event. And these Cowboys and Cowgirls don't get mad at their partners. They realize it's a team event. They know they can miss just as easy as there's another no time. This time it is Chad Reber and Bubba Johnson. I'll now bring up Hallie and Peyton Bennett. Peyton from Lehigh, Hallie the header from Southern Utah County. After that, it'll be Hazen and Houston Bennett, then Austin Mon and Cooper Jacobs. Hallie Bennett, Peyton Bennett, Hallie from Southern Utah County, coming from the head side. Peyton Bennett healing from Lehigh, waiting for them to arrive. On top here in performance number 2, it is Watterson and Davis with the 1678s rather. Looking for that first clean run. No speeding ticket, no hind foot. Continue to wait. Want to thank our team roping sponsors, Cowboy State Realty. With unparalleled industry knowledge, experience, and local expertise, Cowboy State Realty offers the Southwest Wyoming real estate experience you've been looking for. Give us a call today at 307-200-4332. Haley Bennett and Peyton Bennett. Haley Bennett on the head and side from Southern Utah County. Peyton Bennett from Lehigh. They're all chasing the 1678 from Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis, both from Southern Utah County. Of course, those times don't touch the times from this morning yet.
Not yet. But we've got, what do we have? 20 more tries here.
Yep. Waiting for the arrival of our next team. It's Hallie Bennett and Peyton Bennett. Hallie again from Southern Utah County. Peyton from Lehigh. At some point they're going to give a second call, I would imagine.
I'm a little surprised they haven't made that yet.
Let's go ahead and run through our top 3 teams. It's Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis. And by the way, these are the top 3 teams in the performance, not the overall rodeo. We were not able to broadcast here this morning because we wanted to spread out the coverage, so we were at the small arena. But Cajun Watterson from Southern Utah County, and Britton Davis sit atop the leaderboard here in performance number 2 with a 1678. J.C. Oberg and McCrae Perry with a 1755. Austin Burke and Tate Crandall with the 2166. We got a bunch of no times after that. Hallie Bennett and Peyton Bennett will be the next team to rope. And then after that, it'll be Hazen Bennett and Houston Bennett. And you'll have Austin Mon and Cooper Jacobs. Then Louis Danzy, Hayes Madsen. I think we saw Hayes compete in a rough stock event.
We did.
Yeah, he actually competed in the saddle bronc riding. So that's a real all-around hand right there. He can rope, he can ride.
What else do you need?
All right. Then we'll see Austin Bryan and Riker Watkins. Then Rowdy Jax McKee and Weston Milner. And we'll go that far in the program. Still waiting for the arrival of our next team. It's Hallie Bennett and Peyton Bennett. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in to the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series live on mylocalradio.com here at Tremonton at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds. Got started with this afternoon performance at 4 o'clock, and we are 2 hours and 17 minutes later in our final event. Probably have another 30 to 45 minutes to go, depending on how fast teams turn up. And there must be a reason. I wonder if either Peyton or Hallie is competing in the small arena right now, and that's why we're waiting.
See the judge with his hands resting on the fence like he's ready for them to get over here.
Mm-hmm. Rodeo is a tight ship. We are into team number 12 of 32. Let's recap our winners from today. First in the barrel racing, we had Cajun Watterson taking it with a 15.439. That was also the rodeo win as well. Bareback riding, Christopher Staley takes it with a 69-point ride. That was a full-on rodeo win as well, as the rough stock only contested in this performance right here. In the saddle bronc riding, Gage Rydalk, the number 2 man in the state who's been on a roll, picks up 10 points with a 72-point ride. In the steer wrestling, Quaid Kossoff takes the win in performance number 2 with an 11.7. In the varsity bull riding, it's Cooper James with the 74. No score in the JV bull riding. Going back to our events this morning, Randy Johnson taking the tie-down roping. Megan Zunick.
Yep.
With the breakaway roping win in performance number 1. And in the goat tying, it was Tulsa. I'm going to have to double check back on our
Torgerson, right?
Torgerson, yeah. I believe it was Torgerson. We'll check on the times real quick, or on the day sheet real quick. Anyway, the goat tying taken by might have been Kinley Jensen. Clem Page won Paige Clem won the pole bending. Might have to look up the record that you kept there for the goat tying as we continue to wait the arrival of our next team roping team. That would be Hallie Bennett and Peyton Bennett. want to say the tie down was won by Kinley Jensen, but we are going to double check that really quick. Pole bending, though, taken by Paige Clem.
Kinley Jensen on the goat tie.
Yep, Kinley Jensen on the goat tying. So those are your winners up to this point. For the performances we have broadcast, we do want to make note that the AM performance, those fastest times, don't necessarily mean they won the whole rodeo because they still had the afternoon performance at the small arena. Just like we're only keeping score for this performance, the afternoon performance in the events here. We are only keeping score for those morning performances, so those are all unofficial results. And some of them we know are not the overall rodeo win, but the performance win.
The best that we've seen today.
Yes. Still waiting for Haley Bennett and Peyton Bennett. Hallie, coming from Southern Utah County. Peyton from Lehigh. Southern Utah County, based in Spanish Fork. Wonder if Lehigh and Southern Utah County work a lot together.
It looks like it. Looks like these last four are all related.
And if you are one of the contestants still to rope, you're kind of sitting there wondering, all right, when am I going to get my time? It's definitely a nerve-wracking situation. In performance number 2, 16:78 from Watterson and Davis is the best time that we've seen in performance number 2. As we switch to our far cam, just to kind of mix things up a little bit. But you see right there a cowgirl with a rope in hand, just kind of riding around. Usually there's about one of these delays per rodeo in the team roping. And then after that, there won't be another. And it looks like we might be getting closer, because a part of me wonders if that is Hallie Bennett that was riding around in her horse a minute ago, and she might be just awaiting the arrival of her partner, but I could be wrong there. We've had a good time in the afternoon performance, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
Had a great time in the morning performance as well.
We've talked about it before, but this afternoon, if you would have told me more bulls would be ridden than Broncs.
Well, also, only 2 bareback ride scores, so we got more bull scores than any of the rough stock. That never happens. On a little bit of a delay here. Might have crossed into more than a little bit of a delay by now. Awaiting the arrival of our next team. Haley Bennett, of course, from Southern Utah County, and Peyton Bennett from Lehigh. Your top time in performance number 2 in the team roping, it's Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis. Watterson just won the barrel racing not too long ago at the beginning of this performance. They have a 16:78. J.C. Oberg and Mac Perry with a 17.55. Burke Austin with and Tate Crandall the 21.66. Then after that, you've got quite a few teams with a no time. Again, we said it's the most accessible of rodeo events, but definitely not the easiest.
Not the easiest.
Continuing to await the start here as the PA announcer / DJ keeps the tunes going. Excuse me. And see what's going on here. Once this delay is over, though, they will move those other teams through quick. It'll be one of those deals where it's As soon as that time's done, get in the box and get gone.
Like you said, I bet there's 0 delays after this.
A big thank you to each and every one of you tuning in to the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series 2023. We're in Tremonton today, wrapping things up. And then we'll be off until next Friday night when we're at the Southern Utah County Rodeo Night 1 in Spanish Fork. And then we will be in Rock Springs, Wyoming on Saturday morning for the final performance of that rodeo.
Going to be burning a little bit of the midnight oil to get from Spanish Fork to Rock Springs, but that's what rodeo is.
Absolutely. And then we'll take a break until June when we've got the entire Wyoming High School Finals Rodeo in Rock Springs, June 5th through the 10th. Let's run through our next few teams. Hallie and Peyton Bennett. Then you've got Houston and Hazen Bennett. Then Austin Mon and Cooper James. Louis Danzy and Hayes Madsen. Austin Bryan and Riker Watkins. Rowdy Jacks McKee and Weston Milner. Then you've got Branson Martinez and Coulter Winslow, Hayden Leverson and Haley Martin, Ryder Olson and Straden Olson, Cooper Sagers and Cody Russell. It'll be interesting to see if Sagers does participate in that one, as he was the Bronc rider that, it's the same name, maybe 2 different people with the same name. But if it's what I'm thinking, the Cooper Sagers was the Bronc rider that was hurt early in the Bronc riding. Anyway, his teammate is Cody Russell. Bridger Crandall and Kessler riding. Then you have Ian Ellis and Trey Stembridge. Crew Perry and Jet Stevens. Cameron Harris and Joseph Harris. All right, here we go. Hallie Bennett and Peyton Bennett. As they are set and ready to go. Again, that 1678 as the Jeopardy theme music plays is the time to beat.
I think that 1678 stood for about 30 minutes now, though, so.
Hallie Bennett, Peyton Bennett. Hallie on the heading, Peyton on the heeling. As we are ready to roll here. Trying to see if it's worth the wait. Here we go. Hallie Bennett takes a good run at the barrier. Trying to get a good catch, and it's off. So no time for the Bennetts.
That steer dipped its head just at the wrong moment.
And I'll bring up Hazen Bennett and Houston Bennett. Houston on the heeling side from Lehigh. Hazen from South Utah County. Looks like they're ready to go. It looks like, if I'm not mistaken, Hazen is actually going to use the same heading horse as Hallie. As Hallie got off her horse, and then Hazen got on one. Got on that same horse, and maybe that's a heeling horse. That horse is just pulled into the heeling side. These horses, much like athletes in positions, are specialized in certain things. South Utah County on the heading side. Lehigh on the heeling side. Here we go. Good run at the barrier. Hazen throws this one. Gets a good head catch. It slick around the neck. Trying to clean it up. And there's a clean run.
We go.
10.89, and that is your new leader in round and performance number 2. So Bennett and Bennett with a 10.89 take the lead. Let's take a look at that on the replay board, brought to you by We're going to have to get, they're already running that new one. And we're going to have another time. Here we go. Oh, new leader. 762. 762 for Mon and Jacobs. And Jacobs.
Looks like we've got Louis Danzy and Hayes Madsen.
What was that time again for Mon and Jacobs? It was a
7 and 6-2.
7 and 6-2. So that is your new leaders, and now we've got ourselves a team roping. Here we go again. Oh, and it's going to be a no time for Louis Danzy and Hayes Madsen. 7-6-2 though, the new team, or the new score to beat.
Looks like Austin Bryan and Riker Watkins out of South Utah County.
Yeah, now I told you, once they get that delay over with, they're going to load them in fast and furious. As right now, it's 7.62 by Austin Mon and Cooper Jacobs atop the board here in performance number 2. Again, we know that's not the lead in the overall rodeo, but it's the best of what we've seen. And a no time for Austin Bryan and Riker Watkins. That'll bring up Rowdy Jax McKee and Weston Milner from Spikers in South Utah County, respectively. Then you got Martinez and Winslow coming up. 7.62, the time to beat here in the team roping. Rowdy McKee, Weston Milner. Rowdy Jax McKee.
The name like Rowdy Jax, you've got to catch him.
Oh, yeah, good chase here. Oh, and it just spun on and off the horns. That's a no time. I'll now bring up Branson Martinez and Coulter Winslow, both from Lehigh. And then you'll have Hayden Leverson and Haley Martin as the next team. More than halfway through this one, I believe, as we're on team number
18.
18, so yep. 32 teams in the team roping here tonight. As they stretch the barrier, Martinez, the header. He's the one that will have to worry about that. Coulter Winslow, the healer, both of them from Lehigh. Gives a nod on the head and turn her loose. Here we go. Martinez just overshot the head loop, and that'll be a no time. That'll now bring up Hayden Leverson of Lehigh, roping with Haley Martin of West Desert. Leverson on the head inside, Martin on the heel inside. In the lead, it's a 7.62 here in Performance 2. Have to mention that. By Austin Mon and Cooper Jacobs. Hazen Bennett and Houston Bennett in second with a 10.89. Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis with a 16.78 is your top, rounds out your top 3 here in Performance number 2.
I'm not sure who the team was this morning, but we had a 5 and 7-5 that leads the overall team roping.
And that is going to be tough to beat.
That is tough.
I think they said Olsen and Olsen. We've gotten Olsen and Olsen on deck after this. Ryder Olsen and Straden Olsen. Here we go. This is Leverson and Martin. Good head catch. Drags this one around, looking to clean it up. Oh, and the heel loop just misses from Hallie Martin.
No time for Hayden and Haley. No time.
Haley Martin takes, and Hayden Leverson takes a no time. That'll bring up Ryder Olsen and Straden Olsen, both from Uinta Basin. Ryder on the heading, Straden on the heeling. That's 7.62 by Mon and Jacobs. Leads the pack here in Performance number 2. We know that That is not the overall rodeo lead, but it is the lead here in the afternoon performance. So Olson and Olson. You'll see Ryder Olson on the head, Straighten Olson on the heel. Here we go. Doesn't want to risk breaking the barrier. Nice head catch there by Ryder. Straighten to clean it up. Yes, sir. Took a little longer to stretch it out, but we'll see what the time is.
And just by the tail of the rope, we're going to get a full lap time at an 8:45.
8:45
For Olson and Olson.
for Olson and Olson.
That's going to move them number 4.
And that puts them at second place in the performance. 5th place overall in the rodeo, and that'll bring up Cooper Sagers and Cody Russell.
Spikers, your next team to go, they'll be followed by Crandall and Riding, Ellis and Stembridge.
I do wonder if this is Sagers that we're going to see, considering what happened from West Desert. I'm going to double check.
They are
the same.
They're the same. It's a tough cowboy right there.
If this is indeed the same guy and not a fill-in, because you want to give Cody Russell a chance to rope. But we'll say it. That's not Sagers. I think that is a young lady who misses the head loop. So that's a no time. I don't believe that was Sagers on the heading side. I think Cody Russell might have switched. And now that'll bring up Bridger Crandall and Kessler Riding, both from Southern Utah Rodeo Club. We could be wrong, though. That could have been Cooper Sagers roping on the heading side. But judging from what happened earlier.
It would be quite a comeback if he did.
Yep.
Bridger and Kessler are ranked 14th and 13th in the state, so
This could be a chance to change the leaderboard. Right now, your top 3 as it sits, it's Hazen Bennett and Houston Bennett with a 10.89 in performance number 2. Straighten Olson and Ryder Olson with an 8.45 in performance number 2. And Cooper Jacobs and Austin Mon with a 7.62. And it looks like, unfortunately, Bridger Crandall misses the headshot. And it's a no time. Next up will be Ian Ellis and Trey Stembridge. Ellis from Carbon. South Summit is where Stembridge, the healer, calls home.
maybe we need to take another short break and get a couple more of these steers caught.
You can see they're running the steers through the alley.
Second call.
And second call for Ellis and Stembridge. They might be turning out.
Third call for Ellis and Stembridge.
And Ellis and Stembridge turn out. I'll bring up Crew Pari and Jet Stevens. Pari from San Pete, Stevens from Lehigh.
These two are your number 19 and 20 header and healers in the state.
Here we go. Crew Perry, Jet Stevens. Perry on the head and side from San Pete. Stevens on the heel and side from Lehigh. Here we go. Perry, good catch there. Turns him around for Stevens. Going for the heel, and they cleaned it up. Clean run. 7.334. That might challenge for the lead.
Sorry, it is a 7.31.
7.31.
That's Perry Stevens. Cameron Harris.
7.31 for Perry and Stevens. And that puts them to the top of the board here in performance number 2.
Your next team up is Cameron and Joseph Harris out of South Summit.
So Stevens from Lehigh, the healer, and Perry from Sam Pete take the lead here in performance number 2. Here comes your next team. And unfortunately, it's a no time as Cameron Harris and Joseph Harris. Cameron chased that one a ways down there. And that'll bring up Branham Cumbie and Brock Borkman.
Branham and Brock are your number 7 and 8 team in the state. So
top hands right here. Branham from Spikers, Brock from West Desert. Branham on the head inside. Borkman on the heel inside. Here we go. Early head catch in Austin. If this is clean, it could be huge. Oh! And a no time. That was an impressive head catch. As we see it there, it was Speed Williams like 2 swings and outs. As unfortunately they'll pick up a no time. But what a pretty shot there by Branham Cumbie. Easy to see why they're top 10 in the state now.
absolutely.
Tommy Wood and Jake Marshall from Enterprise, our next team to rope. And then it'll be Race Gordon and Stace Gilbert from Emory. Then Shane Pine and Dax Felton from Southern Utah. Justin Hurst and Cedar Coburn from Spikers in Southern Utah, respectively. Grace Kalmar and Braid Levitt from Southern Utah and Enterprise, respectively. And then from Bear River, wrapping it up, Kaylee and Dylan Sorensen. So only 1, 2, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more teams left. And unfortunately, Tommy Wood and Jake Marshall will take a no time. Next up will be Race Gordon and Stace Gilbert out of Emory. Gordon on the head inside, Gilbert on the heeling side. And they are ready to go quickly. Everybody chasing that 17:31 by Perry and Stevens here in the second performance. However, it's a 5
and 7-5 overall lead.
Leads the rodeo this morning. Too bad we missed that one. But we had a great time over at the small
We did.
arena.
I'm not complaining about where we were.
Not at all. Here we go. Great head catch early, but he lost his dally. Oh, no. Race Gordon with a great head catch. Look at this on the Cowboy Days replay. He's out early, makes the throw, misses his dally, and the rope runs away from him. And that will now bring up Shane Pine and Dax Felton from Southern Utah County. Our next team, 17-31 from Perry and Stevens, the number 1 time in the second round, second performance. Team roping presented by Cowboy State Realty. Call them today at 307-200-4332. Here we go. And the rope figured 8 on him, on Shane Pine. When he threw it down, the rope curled back on it, figured 8 on him. And it's a no time for Shane Pine and Dax Fenton. That'll bring up Justin Hurst and Cedar Coburn. Hurst, the header from Spikers. Coburn, the healer from Southern Utah County. Down to the final 3 teams in our team roping and the final event of our afternoon performance here at Tremonton. And the steer comes out. Man, great patience shown by the header, Justin Hurst. Good head catch. Now turns it around for the healer. Cleaning it up is Cedar Coburn. Got it.
There we go.
In the field, it's going to be
10.26 for Justin Hurst and Cedar Coburn.
Grace Kalmar and Blake Levitt, South
That puts them at 10-6 in I believe 4th place. Up next, it'll bring up Grace Kelmar and Bladen Levitt, the penultimate team, as Kelmar unfortunately has missed the headshot. And then there were one from Bear River. It's Kaylee and Dylan Sorensen. Kaylee on the head side, Dylan on the Elan side. It's a hometown rodeo.
Hometown team.
For Bear River. 17-31, the lead in the, or 7-31 rather, thank you. The lead by Perry and Stevens here in the second performance. Here we go. And good catch. Oh, it slipped off the horn for Sorensen, and that is a no time for the Sorensen. And that wraps it up here in the tie-down roping. Let's go to our final result board, brought to you by Ready Services. In first place here in performance number 2. We have to mention that. We know that the Olsons, with a 5-second run, won the overall rodeo. But in the second performance, it goes to Crew Perry and Jet Stevenson with a 17:31. Second place will be Austin Mon and Cooper Jacobs from Southern Utah with a 7:62. Third place, Ryder Olson and Strayton Olson from Uinta Basin with an 8:45. Justin Hurst and Cedar Coburn with a 10:26 in fourth place. Hazen Bennett and Houston Bennett with a 10:89 in fifth place. Cajun Watterson and Britton Davis with a 16:78 in sixth place. J.C. Oberg and McCrae Perry with a 17:55 in seventh place. We'll round out the top 10 before we call it. In seventh place. In eighth place, Austin Burke and Tate Crandall with a 21:66. So 8 qualified times, and it all belongs to, in round 2, in performance number 2, to Crew Perry of San Pete and Jet Stevens of Lehigh. But we do know they did not win the overall rodeo, but a fairly high placing for them. Congratulations to them. Let's go ahead and roll through our final results of all the events really, really quick. In our break, our tie-down roping, brought to you by Les Schwab Plains Tires, it was taken by Randy Johnson with a 10. It was a 10. It was an early 10s.
10-2,
10-2, 10-3, somewhere along that line. In the breakaway roping, it was Megan Zunick taking that. By the way, our tie-down roping brought to you today by Les Schwab. In the breakaway roping, brought to you by Ready Services, it was Megan Zunick. And then in the goat tying, it was brought to you by Evanston Cowboy Days. That one was won by Jensen.
Kinsley
Jensen, thank you. And then in the pole bending, Paige Clem wins the pole bending, brought to you by Water of Life. In the afternoon performance, we go back to the Ready results board as we had that one set up. The barrel racing won today by Cajun Watterson with a 15.439. In the bareback riding, it goes to Christopher Staley with a 69-point ride out of Lehigh. The Sal Bronc riding taken by Gage Rydalk, number 2 in the state coming into this rodeo. Maybe not anymore, as he's the only man to cover his bronc. A 72-point ride. In the steer wrestling, Quaid Kossoff comes away with the performance victory, not the rodeo victory, but the performance victory with an 11.7. In the varsity bull riding, Cooper James with a 74 takes the win. Christopher Staley from Lehigh takes second place with a 71. James, of course, representing West Desert. The JV bull riding, no scores there, and the team roping goes to the Olsons with a 5-second run. But the performance today goes to Jet Stevens and Crew Perry with a 7-3-1. And that is going to do it. Parting thoughts from our first rodeo here of the season in Tremonton.
What a great day. You know, from everybody that put this rodeo together to the athletes that competed, the animals that competed. there is no better way to spend a day than at a rodeo, and this has been a great one.
Matt, you and I came up with the idea to cover high school rodeo a year ago. This has been a year in the making, and to see this come to fruition has been incredibly rewarding. And I have no doubt that this is something that we will get better at. We apologize for all the technical snafus, but I think we're getting into our groove towards the end there. But, man, thank you so much for tuning in, each and every one of you. This has been the Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series, live on mylocalradio.com. Our producers in the studio in Evanston, we have Colton Bagley. Our web master is Sean Hando. Our executive producer is Val Cook. Our office manager is Kayleen Anderson. Our sales manager and my broadcast partner today is Matt Petrie. Our sales associates, Sarah Pay and Julie Burley. And our office manager, Kayleen Anderson, and the rest of the staff at My Local Radio Sports. We have Voice of the Valley and our cameraman today, Mr. Dennis Bedwell. Voice of the Jackson Bronx in Jackson Hole, Mr. Jake Nichols. Voice of the Rich Rebels in Utah, Mr. Aaron Poling. Voice of the West Side Indians in Idaho, Mr. Dan Hubbard. Voice of the Preston Indians in Idaho, Mr. Dan Hubbard. Voice of the West Side Pirates in Idaho, Mr. Cody Olson. And my name is Elan Olliff. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you at our next stop on the 2023 Addicted Power Sports High School Rodeo Series. It's going to be in Spanish Fork next Friday at 4 o'clock p.m. Thank you guys so much, and have a great weekend. Thank you once again for tuning in.
The proceeding has been a wholly owned production of MyLocalRadio.com and Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC, no portion of which may be used or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC. Thank you for joining us for this sports presentation on MyLocalRadio.com.